I mean, those quarterfinals were a long time ago for Switzerland, and actually this is part of a process for them. Stuart Pearce was talking on the TalkSport World Cup Daily podcast today about the connection between those national underage sides who win tournaments, who then go on to do well at senior level. He talked about Spain and Germany. We're all hoping for it with England as well. Switzerland won the World Cup at under 17 level 13 years ago. Granit Xhaka, the left back Rodriguez, Haris Seferovic, who's on the bench, the striker, he got the winner in the final that time, are all graduates from that squad. Now, before 2006, Tony, they qualified for only one of the previous 9 World Cups. But with those graduates and that winning mentality, they're now regulars, not just getting to the World Cup, but getting past the group stage.
Well, I do think it's very important to have a conveyor belt of talent, you know, all different ages, and be breeded into that, being a successful team. Does that take Switzerland one step further? Maybe a semi-final? Could they ever achieve that? Well, they're better placed now than they've ever been to do that. So I'm all for it, because I do think younger levels are very important, like they are at club level. It's the same international.
Well, the flag's unfurled, hence the cheers. So many Brazilian fans in here tonight. You could describe it as a sea of yellow. The Brazil flag away to our left and the Swiss flag away to our right on the pitch, either side of the giant World Cup, which is illuminated underneath. The pyro's been firing up into the air, the flames, and the light show continues. Mobile phone light torches all around this stadium. Age could be a factor, you know, Tony. I'm not talking about you. Swiss back 5, combined age 147, so basically 30 years old. That's the average age for their back 5, the 4 and the keeper. But for Brazil as well, I mean, they've got some old players in that back line, and you wonder, and Bolo charging at them, Richarlison with his youth and his zest could cause a problem for those aging back 4s.
Yes, absolutely. And look, it's very rarely you see forwards without pace, and Switzerland have Embolo, and he can turn. I've seen him at Monaco, see him at Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's got goals regularly in the last 2 years, and Richarlison's not quite worked so far for his move to Spurs, but was terrific at the end of last season with Everton. Certainly played a big part in keeping them up. That is the good thing. The one thing I just don't get, I don't get how Thiago Silva at 38, he looks like he's still playing with, you know, I think he should have a parachute on his back now, but he's not. He's still got pace. I've not seen anybody outrun him, and the experience of Marquinhos alongside him. Alexandro's about 31, Juve left back. So yes, you're right, but I do think the 2 centre forwards are already off the score sheet. You know, Embolo got his first goal at the tournament, and Richarlison's got a double, so it's all there to be played for.
Embolo, brilliant at Monaco since he joined in the summer, isn't he? 1 in 2, I think he's got for them so far. Yeah,
done really, really well, Aidan. Look, he come off the back of a really good season in Germany. I always laugh, because when you see a fee, what was it paid? Undisclosed. You know, what did they pay? So, but yes, he's done. And as the season's got on, Embolo's got better. So, yeah, it's been a good signing for Monaco.
Players on their way out here at Stadium 974. And just to add, as the Brazil players make their way out, 9 of their squad over the age of 30. They have the 5th oldest player in Dani Alves, who's 39. And the 8th oldest player is the man Tony mentioned, Thiago Silva, at the age of 37. As Brazil and Switzerland line up either side of the officials in front of that giant World Cup on the pitch, and just behind those white letters on the green grass that say FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Some may be having difficulty getting to the stadium at 974. It's a little bit further away than you think. There are some empty seats. They may fill up as this evening goes on, but the vast majority are filled by yellow shirts as we await the national anthems. 2 coaches come out, shake of a hand, and here we go. faces of those Brazil players. Casemiro really into it, key man, holding it all together in that midfield for Brazil. Pure emotion as they sang that national anthem. Now to the Swiss. That's got the juices flowing, no doubt about that. We've had plenty of goals today. Earlier in this group, Cameroon 3, Serbia 3, Ghana 3, South Korea 2. We are full of goals on TalkSport at this World Cup, and let's hope that continues. No Neymar, but will there still be a Brazilian party? Winner goes through. It's Brazil against Switzerland with a man who played in 2 World Cups, Tony Cascarino, alongside your commentator on TalkSport, Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Adrian. Hello, everyone. In an often unpredictable and thrilling World Cup so far, Brazil's quest to end 2 decades of hurt is alive and kicking. Richarlison's double, the second the most audacious of goals, was enough to see off Serbia last Thursday night. A win will take Brazil into the knockouts, but it's the same equation for Switzerland, who are level on points with them after beating Cameroon. It wasn't convincing, but the Swiss are in buoyant mood. With Granit Xhaka telling TalkSport Breakfast earlier, they dream of lifting the World Cup. No Neymar, no Danilo for Brazil. Alisson in goal, Eder Militao, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva and Alex Sandro the defenders. Casemiro and Fred in midfield. Rafinha, Paqueta and Vinicius Jr. behind Richarlison. For the Swiss, Shaqiri only on the bench. Sommer is in goal. Vidma, Akanji, Elvedi and Rodriguez the back 4. Freuler and Xhaka holding. Rieder, So and Vargas behind Briel and Bolo up front. Well, it's not full Stadium 974, this really quite fascinating arena that's made out of shipping containers, but it feels like a Brazil home game. Canary yellow everywhere you look. A couple of pockets of Swiss supporters, but make no mistake, the crowds are out in the Qatari desert, Tony Cascarino, and they've come to see Brazil.
Yes, absolutely, Joe, and you know, it's a special occasion to witness Brazil as a team, a national team with so much pride, the way they play. Switzerland will certainly be a side very nervous. Give them respect, but don't give them too much. And I think that's going to be the theme of the first half, because they've got to get themselves into this game. They've won their opening game, so, you know, beating Cameroon 1-0, that's a great start to this campaign. Can they get themselves something out of this game?
Well, both sets of players going into a huddle ahead of kick-off. The Brazilians to the left, the Swiss to the right. Our commentary position is high up in the main stand, a shade to the right of the halfway line, directly behind the Swiss dugouts. The Swiss will play all in red, and the Brazilians in their canary yellow shirts, royal blue shorts and white socks. It's a relatively mild night for Stadium 974, which is the only stadium without inbuilt air conditioning. The floodlights are on, and we are ready to go. First against second in Group G, Brazil against Switzerland. A win for either team takes them to the knockout stages. The World Cup group stage is coming to the crunch, and it's live and underway on TalkSport. The Swiss from right to left, and an early touch for Manuel Akanji of Manchester City plays it square to his centre defensive colleague Nico Elvedi, and now it's the very experienced Ricardo Rodriguez in the left-back position. It's shuffled forward towards Mbolo. Marquinhos wins it back for Brazil, and Vinicius Junior tears over the halfway line. Was that a foul by Fabian Rieder? Yes, it was. The referee from El Salvador, Ivan Cisneros, straight across, and what a moment tonight for Fabian Rieder, making just his second ever international appearance, Tony.
Absolutely, and immediately Vinicius Junior gets fouled, gets on the ball literally 10 seconds into the game. They get rewarded with a free kick,
which in the end came to nothing, and Brazil send it all the way back to goalkeeper Alisson, who's got rid of that moustache, that spectacular moustache, Tony, that has been sporting throughout the tournament so far.
Yeah, fabulous.
It's no more. Thiago Silva, high long ball downfield towards Vinicius Junior, far side the Brazil left wing position. People taking their seats all the time around the stadium. Now the ball's with Alexandro on the halfway line, plays it back to Thiago Silva. A quiet start. Brazil 0, Switzerland 0, very early stages here on Talk Sport. We are 3 hours ahead of you back at home, so it's just gone 7 o'clock in the evening. And of course, one more commentary still to come for you later. And if what we've seen today is any indicator of what we're going to get this evening, it could be really spectacular. Portugal against Uruguay follows us at 7 o'clock. And now here the Swiss have a throw in their left-back position.
Well, both teams are playing a flat back four. The Kanji's on the right side of it, Elvedi to the left of him, and well, you pretty much know with Brazil, Thiago Silva and the experience of Marquinhos alongside him.
Well, we said before the game, as Richarlison brings it down, 30 yards out, cleared away by Akanji, high up into that dark evening sky. The header downfield by Alexandro, and it's well controlled by Vinicius Junior. Looks to tear away down that Brazil left. He's flanked by Sylvain Wittmer, who shoves him to the ground, and that's an obvious free kick to Brazil, 10 yards from the corner flag, and an early moment of danger here for the Swiss.
Well, Adrian said to me before the game about Neymar being fouled so regularly. We've gone in, 2 minutes into the game, and twice Vinicius Junior has been fouled. In a great position, wide left. Good opportunity for Brazil.
And it's Rafinha and Fred on free kick duty, and plenty forward for Brazil, including both Thiago Silva and Marquinhos. Casemiro is lurking as well, and Richarlison has got those memorable 2 World Cup goals to his name after the win against Serbia just a few days ago. It's 0-0, but the Brazilians have started well. Noise echoing around the stadium. Rafinha's delivery, Richarlison, it's missed him, and it missed Paqueta on the edge of the 6-yard box as well, and it's rolled all the way out of play for a throw to Switzerland on the near side. What a ball in by Rafinha. Nobody in a yellow shirt could get a vital goal-scoring touch though.
Well, Rafinha whipped a ball in, probably a yard off the pitch, and it didn't get anybody on the end of the cross. Great ball in. It just was behind Richarlison.
And Richarlison tried to stretch to get a glancing touch. He might have got a touch on it, Tony Cascarino, but in the end, nobody in Brazil yellow could profit. But it's certainly been a fast-paced and high-intensity start, and the Brazilian fans to the left-hand side are bouncing behind the goal. There was a huge banner behind that goal unfurled before kick-off. It read the yellow-green movement in Portuguese as the Swiss scoop the ball high up into the air, and it's Rodriguez with the clearance up to the halfway line, chested down by Marquinhos, and Gibril So is fouled by Casemiro just inside his own half, right in front of the referee, and the Swiss will have themselves a free kick. A real sense of confidence about this Switzerland outfit this year, Tony. They are saying in some quarters they might end up having their best ever World Cup performance. Well, they've got to get out of the group first.
Yeah, and Gibril So there, looks like every time the Swiss break, he's going to try and get alongside Bril and Mbolo to join him, give him a bit of a hand, a second player up front.
Good ball from Xhaka inside left channel. Alisson out to meet it. The Brazil number 1 clears high and long. Ederson is left on the bench these days. Alisson is very much the number 1, has this incredible statistic, 39 clean sheets in 58 caps, even by his standards. That is something. And Alisson on the ball now, a poor pass straight to Vargas, who tried to return it into the area with interest. Brilliant interception from Casemiro as Vargas fired the ball in towards the near post, and then Fred knocks it straight out of play. The Swiss take the resulting throw quickly. Here is Xhaka, corner of the penalty area, back to Rodriguez, and Switzerland send the ball back to the halfway line. 5 minutes gone, Brazil 0, Switzerland 0. Here's the former Ireland international, Tony Cascarino.
Well, Alisson got away with that. Really didn't make a great connection with a pass. Gave the ball to Switzerland. Quite fortunate to get away with that one.
And Thiago Silva has carried the ball out of play this time, and the Swiss have the game's first corner on this near side of the field in front of the Brazil end of the ground.
Again, Djibril Sow got in a really wide position, nice and high. So they're making their intentions clear, Switzerland. They're going to get bodies pressurising this back line of Brazil.
Elvedi, Widmer and Akanji are all forward for the corner, which Vargas is going to take. Right-footed and in swinging from the near side of the field in towards the near post. Rafinha was there, and Rafinha ended up knocking the ball off at Widmer, and it's gone behind for a Brazil goal kick in front of that great mass of supporters from South America.
It's a wonderful sight, the yellow, and there's a number of Swiss fans in here as well.
Yep.
They are clearly outnumbered, which you'd expect.
Yeah, big group down below us, a steep drop to the foot of the main stand, which is where we are. I can see the Swiss head coach Murat Yakin, hands in his pockets, and to his left the Brazil boss Tite, who is leading his country at back-to-back World Cups. Tite, the first Brazilian manager to do that since Tele Santana in the 1980s. The ball is knocked out to the left and chested down by Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior back towards Alexandra on the halfway line. Paqueta takes over, crowded out by Widmer, out of play for Brazil throw. And already this looks a more intriguing encounter in many ways than Brazil's opening Group A game, which we saw at the Lusail on TalkSport a few days ago, where Serbia had no ambition other than to sit in very deep. The Swiss, it seems to me anyway, have more ambition than that.
Well, they're trying to pressurise Brazil. They're not going to let them settle, which I think is an absolute perfect tactic for them to do, because when you give good players too much time, they'll get their head up and they'll find a pass. So they're doing the right thing against Brazil.
Poor ball forward by Eder Militao, straight to the feet of Akanji, and now the ball is sent back to the goalkeeper Sommer under pressure from Richarlison. Forward to Akanji again on the edge of his own penalty area. Xhaka nudges the ball out wide towards the right, and good play by Switzerland. Elvedi finding Remo Freuler of Nottingham Forest, headed by Casemiro for Brazil, and Vinicius Junior thought he kept it in play. He was ready to turn and sprint trademark towards goal, but indeed it has gone out, and it's a throw to the Swiss on the far side, their right.
He's so sharp, Vinicius Junior. Just any opportunity and he gets away. I will say as well, Brazil are not shy in pressing. They get players and bodies forward to play a very high game.
It's well controlled by Breel Mbolo, out in the right wing position, the far side. It's converged upon by two in yellow. Brazil scramble it clear, only as far as the Swiss captain Xhaka. Square ball to the near side, and Rodriguez looks up and plays in a relatively poor cross. It's cleared away by Eder Militao, who is the second man, and now the ball is back in the centre circle with Manuel Akanji. Akanji has Freuler just a couple of yards in front of him. Out to the right hand side is Widmer. Still spectators arriving in the stadium. It's about 44,000 the capacity. It's mostly full, but still not quite, I'm afraid. Can see quite a few empty blue seats. And Rodriguez back towards Akanji, midway inside the Switzerland half. Remember, a win for either of these sides would take them into the knockouts. That after that thrilling draw between Cameroon and Serbia that we brought you earlier. Sommer, the goalkeeper, finding Elvedi with the red boots on. Elvedi blocked off by Richarlison, and it's a Swiss throw. Well,
you wouldn't have seen this a number of years ago. Richarlison has sprinted nearly 30 yards to get to Elvedi on the left side of the back four, and he's made a challenge just to give away a throw-in. He really put the pressure on as quick as he could.
He is Brazil's new hero, it would seem. A massive cheer when his name was read out before kick-off over the PA system. Neymar, of course, expected to miss the group stages. Marquinhos has mentioned that Neymar has been sleeping in the physio room, Tony, trying to get ready, and it's tough. You know what it's like to come into a World Cup with an injury, or suffer an injury at a World Cup.
Absolutely. You wake up every day hoping you'll be better than you were the day before, and it's difficult. You know, World Cups, they come and go, and you're lucky if you play one, and Neymar would have looked at this at 30 years old as a golden opportunity with a really good Brazilian team.
Brazil 0, Switzerland 0, 10 minutes gone. It finished Ghana 3, South Korea 2 earlier, also live on TalkSport. Every game at this World Cup live with us, including Wales against England tomorrow. Forward pass towards Fred for Brazil, and Fred has got Marquinhos making an infield run, and Eder Militao is there as well, but the Swiss win possession back, and it's with Freuler midway inside his own half, pops it forward to Xhaka, and now so in the centre circle. Widmer in support, overlapping one on the far side of the right. It's a good move, this. Widmer, lots of time and space to play it across. He's got Reeder square. Widmer held on to it for far too long. Ended up at walking pace and back to the halfway line.
Well, they had three bodies forward in the 18-yard box there, Switzerland, and Widmer ended up choosing the option and going backwards, which is the wrong one.
All the way through beyond Fred for Vargas, who looks for Richarlison, fouled just shy of the halfway line by Elvedi, and the referee comes across, been very authoritative with his decision-making so far, Ivan Cisneros, and there is no yellow card for Elvedi, merely a word in his ear.
Elvedi gets tangled with Richarlison. He goes to ground. The reward is a free kick for Brazil. But you can see with the Switzerland fullbacks are not going to venture forward too often.
The Swiss, who have made the last 16 in 3 out of the last 4 World Cups, they haven't reached the quarter-finals since the 1950s. But as I said earlier, that impressive showing at Euro 2020 has really given this squad, which is largely made up of the Euro squad, belief and confidence that they can do something special at this World Cup, potentially. It was not a great performance against Cameroon on match day 1, but they did get the job done. Akanji midway inside his own half. He can play it square to Elvedi, which he does, the number 4. Elvedi, who steers it forward 10 yards to the feet of Vargas. He's got Eder Militao at his back, and Militao makes a good interception, finds Rafinha on the halfway line. Fred juggles the ball infield. Paqueta, lovely touch to find Richarlison inside the penalty area, can pull it back. Vinicius Junior was there, well tracked, well intercepted, and knocked out of play by Sylvain Widmer.
Wow, the pass by Paqueta with the outside of his boot. Fabulous talent, extraordinaire. What you'd expect from a Brazilian. Outside of his left foot, sends Richarlison away. He tries to square it to Vinicius Junior, but well intercepted by Widmer.
Now Militao down by the near side touchline. Back to Lucas Paqueta, who still hasn't scored for West Ham, but has really sparkled in a Brazilian shirt, the number 7. He's calling for the ball here in a central position. And there you hear the noise of the Brazilian fans. 0-0. Militao, infield, Paqueta, lovely touch to Fred, into Richarlison, into the penalty area. This time he didn't get his touch right, and he has carried it out of play for a goal kick. It was Casemiro to Fred to Richarlison, very sharp from the Brazilians until the very end.
And again, fabulous play by Brazil. But I've got to say, I'm really pleased of how Switzerland have started as well. They've really shown that they can match Brazil, and they're not getting in easy. They're managing to get the bodies behind the ball, even with great interchange play that Brazil are doing.
Well, you do feel the Swiss would probably take a point tonight, all things considered. Brazil haven't lost a group stage game since 1998 when they were beaten by Norway. But it has been an intriguing first 13 minutes or so here, and the Swiss, though they are outnumbered in the stands and not exactly fancied coming into this match on the field, it has certainly proven a close-knit encounter so far, and it's still 0-0. Elvedi back to goalkeeper Sommer, who is rated as one of the best in Europe, all in blue. Sommer, not the tallest, but technically often outstanding. Now Granit Xhaka back to Akanji. He's 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Brazil not venturing towards him. Great ball by Akanji. Little touch back to Embolo. Was he tripped? Yes, he was. A foul by Casemiro and a free kick to Switzerland. Dead centre. What, 30 to 35 yards from goal? Is it within shooting range, Tony Cascarino?
Well, it's a bit too far for me, but I know Granit Xhaka loves to try an effort from 30 yards. I've got to say, great play by Djibril Sow and Embolo. A little dummy, quick change of play, and they get rewarded with a foul that gives them a free kick.
Xhaka and Freuler standing over it. Now then, Akanji and Widmer and Reeder, young Fabian Reeder, have gone to the far post. There's only one man in the Brazil walls, so quite clearly they're not expecting a shot. Vinicius Junior is the only man standing there. Alisson a couple of yards off his line. Elvedi's forward as well, as is Breel Embolo. Freuler stepping back as if he might strike this from range. Granit Xhaka will tap it square. Ricardo Rodriguez out to the near side, the left, and Vargas trying to do a couple of step overs, swings in across, steered away by Fred at the near post, comes back out to Freuler, almost where he started. Out to the right hand side with the angled ball, and Widmer lets it run across his body Vidma, who does like to get forward but hasn't looked comfortable in that position so far, and it's a Brazil throw in their left back spot on that far side of the field there left.
Well, down the left there, Ricardo Rodriguez and Vegas had a great opportunity to get the ball in from a free kick, a short free kick. They didn't make the most of it.
I've just seen a shot in our monitor in the commentary position of Alain Souter, former Swiss striker here tonight. Jan Sommer has steered the ball into the path of Nico Elvedi, the defender. In the right back position, Freud has knocked it out of play. That was really careless. You can't do that against this Brazil team. And careless moments like that can allow Brazil to build some momentum. Relatively even though, hasn't it, Tony, so far? Has been relatively even in the first 16 minutes, 0-0.
Absolutely, and the work rate of the Swiss team is really clear to see. They are not going to give an inch to this Brazil team if they can. It's going to have to be a moment of brilliance, I think, to open up this Swiss side.
Alexandro shuffling in field from the left into the centre circle with the pass, and Marquinhos wearing number 4. Marquinhos to Eder Militao, who is the youngest in that Brazil back 4 tonight. Remember, Danilo is also injured and also expected to be out for the group stages. Militao was always the first choice backup ahead of the 39-year-old Dani Alves. Alexandro on the halfway line turns away from Reader, back to Thiago Silva. Brazil a little one-paced here. And now Marquinhos on this carpet-like surface. He's got Mbolo standing right in front of him. Square ball to Thiago Silva, forward to Lucas Paqueta. Out wide on the left is Alexandro. Was he tripped by Reader? He was. The referee has had a good game so far and spotted it straight away.
Yeah, Alexandro gets brought down as he just come inside, looked to play a pass, and immediately Boyer brings him down.
England against Wales tomorrow at 7 o'clock, live on TalkSport. Our programme gets underway at 5. The ball is with Ricardo Rodriguez in the Swiss left-back position, steers the ball to the feet of the goalkeeper, Jan Sommer. And Sommer looks up and plays it square, gets it back from his defender, Akanji. Back to Akanji again, with Paqueta putting the pressure on. The Swiss have to be careful that they don't overplay. Little touch by Reader to Vidma, far side the right. Forward pass, well, he was looking for Mbolo, right down that far side touchline. The pass was a yard in field, and Mbolo was just not on the same wavelength, and the team in yellow and blue, Brazil, have it back.
Yeah, Brazil held their line brilliantly there. Mbolo knew he would have been offside if he made the run. This is very similar to the opening of the Brazil-Serbia game, where Brazil were finding it difficult, but eventually they found their way in the second half with Richarlison with a brace. Can this Switzerland team do even more?
There's a little more energy about Brazil in that second period against Serbia, and that was what they needed, plus that pure magisterial moment from Richarlison for the second goal, and a free kick to Brazil, which is taken quickly on the far side there left. They did meet these two in last World Cup's group stages, Russia 2018. It ended 1-1 that day. 0-0 the score inside the 19th minute. Thiago Silva at walking pace, nobody in red anywhere near him. Forward towards Paqueta, steered out to the left, and Vinicius Junior darting towards the edge of the penalty area, onto his right foot, tries to squeeze it in field. It's cleared away by Switzerland, only as far as Paqueta nods it down, then crosses in low. Richarlison slid in, couldn't get there, swept away by Nico Elvedi. What a ball from Paqueta. Well,
Paqueta's been the brightest spark in this Brazilian team so far in the opening, nearly 20 minutes. Just unlucky Richarlison couldn't get his foot on the end of the pass.
Alexandro to flick it, a high cross. Rafinha climbing, headed away by Rodriguez. It's come back to Eder Militao, down by the corner flag, and he has been shrugged aside by Vargas, and he's inadvertently knocked the ball out of play for a Swiss goal kick. But Lucas Paqueta, that midfield metronome, looks the most likely to unlock that Swiss defence so far.
Yeah, he's done a fabulous pass about 10 minutes ago with the outside of his left foot. There he just a little header and squared the ball. It'll be unfortunate. There's some great duels going on in the game. I'm looking at certainly Militao up against Vargas, really matching each other.
A very elegant pass of the ball, Lucas Paqueta. Here come the Swiss with Vidma, right back position far side, forward to Fabian Rieder. Fabian Rieder of Young Boys Bern in Switzerland. He was on the radar of Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, if you believe the rumours. He scored in the Champions League against Manchester United last season. So over the halfway line, inside right channel, great ball for Vargas, angled tight, pulls it across the face of goal. Mbolo didn't think about making that run. Allison quick off his line to gather.
Well, that was a great bit of play there, and I've got to say, Mbolo came out to the left and Vargas played the centre forward position, so they switched positions, and with that Vargas made a run across and behind Thiago Silva and played a great square ball that Mbolo couldn't quite get there. They've just switched positions in the last couple of minutes.
Commentary of the Group H game between Portugal and Uruguay to come on Talk Sport. At the same time, we'll bring you the FA Cup third round draw on Talk Sport 2. So we've got every angle covered when the World Cup's done, by the way. Boxing Day, everything live on the network in the Premier League. Here's an opportunity for Freuler to dart forward, intercepted by Alexandro. Neat one-touch play from the Brazilians. It's with Fred in the centre circle, on to Paqueta. Paqueta charging up the middle into space. In goes Elvedi, half challenge. Paqueta tries to poke it through the middle. Elvedi's gone down and stayed down. Xhaka finds Rodriguez. That was a risky back pass. Sommer had to rush off his line to clear. The Swiss have this insistence in playing the ball out of defence, and to me, Tony Cascarino, they look a bit nervous doing so. 0-0.
Yeah, Rodriguez there was a little bit fortunate. He didn't know that Richarlison was just behind him. Got away with it. The ball eventually got to Sommer.
Here is Casemiro from long range. He's given it straight to Elvedi. And now the Swiss have it with Widmer on the edge of his own 18-yard box. Halfway through the first half, Widmer is sending it forward and long, straight to the feet of Marquinhos. Good pressure from Brazil. Lovely turn from Alexandro to find Marquinhos again. Uzanas from the supporters of the Brazil side. Hear the rhythmic samba beat in the background, the beat of a drum. And forward from Casemiro, lovely flick from Richarlison, could come towards Fred, but Elvedi's there to sweep it away from danger. Heavy touch from Mbolo on halfway, shove in the back though from Thiago Silva. Free kick to Switzerland, and it really has been a game of very few, if any, clear-cut chances so far. Neither goalkeeper has had a save to make 22 minutes in.
Yeah, nothing's being given at the moment. Both teams are working incredibly hard, trying to find that inch-perfect pass. Someone who can make the difference. Paqueta has certainly showed signs of that for Brazil. I do think that Gibril Sau, if he can get alongside Mbolo when they've got the ball, just to give Brazil something to think about.
Here is Akanji for Switzerland. 10 yards shy of the halfway line and only under token pressure. Thunderous noise from the vast majority of the crowd at Stadium 974. I was at the Souk Waqif yesterday, which is a local market in Doha, and that's where a lot of the supporters are hanging out, and great to see so many different sets of fans mixing together. There were some Brazil and Switzerland supporters there yesterday. Now it's with Xhaka on the halfway line for Switzerland, out to Widmer. Widmer will play it all the way back to Jan Sommer. We'll have to get you to the Souk at some point, Tony.
Yes.
Enjoy the atmosphere down there.
Too many games at the moment, Joe.
You're a busy man, and that's just the way we like it at a World Cup. On Talk Sport, Netherlands against Qatar tomorrow, Ecuador against Senegal on Talk Sport 2, as is Iran against the USA, England, Wales on Talk Sport. Infield from Ricardo Rodriguez, and here is So, 25 yards out, trying to knock it through the middle rather than play it square to Freuler. Brazil clear, only as far though as Xhaka, 25 yards from goal, left of centre, onto Vargas, quick feet, shuffles it wide to Rodriguez, steers it back into the path of Vargas again, time and space to swing in the cross. Volleyed away by Thiago Silva. It's come back to Vargas again. Thiago Silva there again, like a Rolls Royce on the intercept, belying his 38 years of age. And in the end, actually, after a poor pass back from Rafinha, he's had to hammer it out of play.
Well, I think it's great play by Thiago Silva. He showed the composure to keep the ball. Then he didn't feel it was on and cleared it into the stands. You know, he's a highly quality player. So much technical ability. Thiago Silva, that's why he's playing at 37. You know, you think the great Maldini, Baresi, that's where Thiago Silva is as a player.
Yeah, we were discussing great centre-halves, weren't we, earlier on? And if he wins the World Cup, Thiago Silva, then he's got to be considered among the greatest, right?
I think he's, you know, without winning the World Cup, I would have a bias, because I think I've never seen a centre-half being so composed.
Forward comes Mbolo for Switzerland. Was he fouled by Casemiro? No. Given away though by Marquinhos. Straight to Freuler. Freuler right wing position. Darting forward, a great one into the area. So is Square. He was blocked off by Marquinhos fairly. Loose ball almost came to Rieder. Alexandro will control in that left back position and he wins a free kick off Sylvain Widmer. But again, the Swiss took a little too long maybe in that dangerous position in the attacking third, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, you're right. Just a little bit sharper. I think the quality in the final third hasn't been good enough for Switzerland. Going back to centre halves, what about Cannavaro? He's probably the last defender to win, the player of the tournament. Italy's
World Cup winning captain in 2006, that famous Zidane headbutt final, which Italy won on penalties. Brazil 0, Switzerland 0. 20 years without a World Cup win for Brazil. In 2002, the likes of Cafu and Roberto Carlos and Ronaldinho and Ronaldo. The ball is with Alisson, the goalkeeper. He didn't really want it, played back to him there by Eder Militao. He'll get it back again, Alisson. He'll clear on his weaker side, his left foot. Doesn't go very far. Freuler nodding it down to the feet of Rieder. Tackled though by Casemiro. Brazil looking to counter-attack. Casemiro holds it up on that far side touchline and steers a good ball to the feet of Paqueta. Now Fred, lip of the centre circle, whips it immediately to the left, and Vinicius Junior, who'd made the run, held up by Sylvain Widmer, and then Rieder steps in to whip it off his toes. Switzerland have it back. Brazil 0, Switzerland 0. Widmer thought he was fouled. Referee says play on. Fred up the middle for Brazil. He's got red shirts blocking the ground in front of him, but it's come to Eder Militao, and now Rafinha, left side, swinging a deep cross. Vinicius Junior forces the save from the goalkeeper. He was all alone, unchallenged at the far post, and Sommer got across to tip it wide. There wasn't a lot of power on the finish. It's a Brazil corner. Wow, and Vinicius Junior's got a big smile on his face. What a golden opportunity. Rafinha puts in a wonderful ball. It's bending in with his left foot, and I've got to say, Sommer makes a great save, but the best opportunity in the game so far. And now Rafinha to take the corner. Again left-footed. Plenty forward here for Brazil with the score 0-0. Whipped in high, headed away by Akanji. Casemiro on the half volley, completely mishit it. Could still come to Paqueta, and it's won back by Militao, who'll dig out a cross. Steered up into the air a little nervously by Granit Xhaka. And Bolo can't hit it further clear just yet. Militao with a back heel. Rodriguez has it. Faced up by Paqueta, knocks it high and long, chips it high towards the halfway line. Brazil there to win it back, and then the ball is out of play. Well, if it was a boxing match, maybe Brazil just landed the first punch there, Tony, with that effort from Vinicius Junior, saved by Sommer. Yeah, it was, and the Rafinha ball was a wonderful one. It's bending in with his left foot. It's a difficult one to hit, and I think Vinicius Junior does really well to get on the end of it. Just can't beat Jan Sommer in the goal for Switzerland. Talking of boxing, Fury against Chisora, live and exclusive on TalkSport this Saturday to come. More and more heavyweight encounters, and of course the World Cup has plenty of those and will bring you all the very best. The ball is with Xhaka on halfway, given away. It's poked on towards Richarlison, runs into Akanji. Akanji backed off there, which is dangerous to do. Free kick against Xhaka, has to be careful. Granit Xhaka never want to shirk a tackle, nor a verbal confrontation. Quick word with Rafinha. Referee stands in front of the two. It was actually Vargas who made the challenge, but Xhaka wanted to have his say, didn't he, Tony? Yes, and he knows that this is such a competitive game. It's moving, and there's so fine margins between the two teams, and you can see that Brazil have got a bit more quality. They've had the best chance so far, but Switzerland are hanging in there. Here is Paqueta knocking the ball high out to the left-hand side, and Vinicius Junior. 29 minutes gone and 0-0. As Switzerland win the ball back, it's not long by Rieder. You'll hear from the Wales boss, Rob Page, at half-time on TalkSport ahead of their game against England tomorrow, of which we'll bring you live commentary. I was with Dean Saunders in our hotel restaurant the other night. He was talking me through Wales' potential options, potential tactics as they look to try and beat England and keep their hopes alive. Well, we will see. The ultimate optimist, Dino. still clinging on. Well, he was showing me with all sorts, Tony. The other night he had the salt and pepper laid out and everything to get formations together. Well, we will see. And tomorrow live in the stadium on TalkSport. Casemiro plays it square to Thiago Silva. It's been a fascinating first 30 minutes. I know it's not had many chances, but it's impossible not to enjoy the intrigue of this game. Marquinhos.
I think the importance for Switzerland is getting to 4 points and, not being beaten in this game. They're really being dogged in this match. They're really making a lot of hard work challenges. Brazil are going to have to keep going.
The wind takes either side through. Rafinha's pass in field, gets it back to Eder Militao. He's 30 yards from goal. He'll go on Rafinha, and it's straight at the goalkeeper Sommer. Well, Rafinha looks really at it tonight. He didn't on match day 1, but this evening he's got a point to prove.
Well, many a time, certainly for Leeds United, over the course of last season, when he comes in on his left side, he's looking to hit it early. A tad too far out, but Rafinha's very capable of beating Sommer in goal from that distance.
Well, Brazil are starting to get on top. Switzerland, though, have won it back. Reed's played it square towards Xhaka, centre circle. Great challenge from Thiago Silva, went the game rail. And Richarlison is bundled over by Freuler right in front of the referee, lifted the centre circle. And that will be an obvious Brazil free kick. Brazil with their embarrassment of riches on the bench as well. The likes of Jesus and Martinelli and Anthony and Rodrigo, among others. In fact, the coach of Switzerland, Yakin, said in the build-up Brazil could field about 3 different teams and they wouldn't be any weaker.
No, and I've got to say, Freuler's chancing his arm slightly.
Yeah.
He's made a number of fouls in the middle of midfield.
In by Paqueta, high towards Richarlison. It came off Nico Elvedi, flicked away by Rodriguez. The loose ball is retrieved by Rafinha. Steers it back to the feet of Militao. Now Rafinha again, hugging this right-hand touchline, but always instinctively stepping infield. He's all left foot. Now Marquinhos up through the middle, faced up by a wall of red, so plays it square to Alexandro. A lot of the play now happening in the Switzerland half. Paqueta, the number 7, plays it back. Now Marquinhos to Thiago Silva in that centre circle again. The Brazil fans full of expectation. Fred takes it up, 25 yards out, they backed off him. Out wide to the near side and Rafinha. Rafinha again, infield with the pass to Casemiro. Alexandro will think of outlining one up, goes back to Marquinhos instead, forward to Casemiro, back to Eder Militao, midway inside the Switzerland half. The Swiss defending determinedly, deep behind the ball. They look well organised here. It's 0-0. Marquinhos gliding towards the edge of the box, plays it forward, gets it back, no. Intercepted by So, and that Brazilian move breaks down. Switzerland very effective defensively, but there's no real outlet. Thiago Silva gets it back straight away, Tony Cascarina.
Well, brilliant play again by Thiago Silva. He just gave a little nudge to Embolo as the ball come to him, knocks him off balance, when enabled Thiago Silva to pick the ball up.
Militao floats it high over the top of Widmer. It came off the back of Vinicius Jr., but he still manages to poke it into the feet of Alexandro. Poor pass though from him, intercepted by So. Xhaka leading the counter-attack, over the halfway line with the pass. Ruben Vargas will chase. Militao got there first. Electric pace from a man who often plays at centre-half for Real Madrid. Flicked by Rafinha towards Richarlison, back to Rafinha, midway inside his own territory. Square ball to Casemiro. And Casemiro back to Thiago Silva. There is at points a great deal of fluency in this Brazil side, but they can't break Switzerland down yet. Floated past by Paqueta, offside against Vinicius Jr.
Did I just read what Vinicius Jr. just did? Because I'm not saying a back pass, but he actually played it with his back.
That should be the new meaning of back pass, shouldn't it, Cass?
He played it off his back, deliberately.
Was it deliberate, do you think?
Well,
I thought he'd run ahead of it. You're probably right, though. I mean, look, you played the game. Did you ever do any back passes?
No, not even close. Just got a little bit stale in the middle of midfield for Switzerland.
They've got it with Widmer out on their right, infield to Reeder, back to So. He's 15 yards into Brazil territory, right of centre. Now on the halfway line is the taller Kanji. Square ball to Elvedi. Now Ricardo Rodriguez, who is such a familiar name in this Switzerland lineup, still wearing his favoured number 13 as always at major tournaments, and in fact at club level too. Rodriguez, who plays in Italy now like a lot of this Swiss squad does. Freuler of Nottingham Forest, midway inside his own half. Square to Elvedi. Elvedi turns away from Paqueta, back to Jan Sommer. No question the Swiss boss will be the happier of the two so far, as Reeder touches it square to Widmer. Widmer's got Freuler infield on the halfway line goes back to Akanji instead.
Yeah, a little bit of a lull in the game at the moment. Certainly Brazil have had their opportunities. We haven't seen too many from Switzerland so far.
Ball is with Remo Freuler, on far side the Swiss right. The Swiss not in any need to force the issue going forward. Alexandro has won the ball back off Widmer for a Brazilian throw. Certainly it's Brazil, as we get a shot of the great Brazilian legend Ronaldo in the crowd watching on, and a massive cheer. And can the class of 2022 repeat what Ronaldo and the side of 2002 did so successfully in Japan and South Korea and win the World Cup? Well, one of the Brazilian greats of all time, one of football's greats of all time, is here to watch them tonight.
Yeah, Brazil just giving away possession.
And Paqueta's lost out to Freuler. He's blocked off by Marquinhos. And now Marquinhos shy of halfway. Forward to Casemiro. Back out to the near side. And Militao with the angled ball. Rafinha hugging the touchline. Militao makes the underlapping run. Rafinha darts infield instead. Sets up Fred. 35 yards from goal. Out to the near side. And Militao again. Back in field to Rafinha with the sky blue boots on. It remains goalless on Talk Sport with 9 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in the first half. Portugal against Uruguay to come, and the FA Cup third round draw on Talk Sport 2 as Reedy gets in front of Vinicius Jr., gives it straight to Alexandro, who was in a crossing position but elects to go backwards to Marquinhos, and now squared in field to the feet of Militao. The Swiss defending very deep, but they don't really press until Brazil reach the edge of the penalty area most of the time.
Yeah, well, the danger for Switzerland is that, you know, how hard it is to work to stop Brazil, and, you know, substitutions are going to be really important.
Alexandro corner the box, infield, lays it square to Fred. Fred now on to Eder Militao to curl one. It thumps off the back of Xhaka, loops up into the sky and drops behind for a corner to Brazil beneath the floodlights.
Well, great block there by Xhaka. OK gives away a corner. And Militao was in a decent position, just 5 yards outside the 18-yard box on his right foot. Xhaka got a good block in.
Brazilian fans bouncing away to the right. The corner is being taken actually in front of a pocket of Swiss supporters, but it's like a Brazil home game here this evening. Plenty forward for Brazil for the corner, including Richarlison after his heroics on match day one. Corner's taken short, steered back to the feet of Fred. Now Alexandro, he's a long way out. Alexandro plays it to the left-hand side. Rafinha, infield, inside the penalty area. Can he get away from Freuler? Freuler standing firm. Rafinha dinks in the cross. There's Jan Sommer to claim it high above his head, the Swiss goalkeeper.
Yeah, Jan Sommer read the cross perfectly. Come and took it out of the air, and he's now set Switzerland away.
Rodriguez, inside left channel, over the halfway line. Square to Granit Xhaka. Waits for the runners to his right-hand side. Widmer, one of them. Widmer not darting forward at any great pace. Again, he goes backwards. Gets it back from Freuler.
Wow, I don't get that with Widmer. He's in a great position to go down the line and try and put a cross in, and he opts to come back out, and now it's difficult. All the Brazilian players are back in their positions. Wasted opportunity by Widmer.
It's back on the halfway line with Nico Elvedi. Very cagey first half for the most part. Elvedi, it's 0-0. Looks for Ricardo Rodriguez. He's got time and space here to deliver a cross. Takes a deflection. Falls for Vargas in the penalty area. He twisted and turned, but couldn't get beyond the Brazil defenders, and Alisson was able to pounce on the loose ball. Well, we just saw Rodriguez on the left side do the opposite of Widmer on the right, and had a chance. It gets to Vegas, and OK, he twists and turns and can't get a shot in, but really good play down the left side by Switzerland. Yeah, he did well there, the number 17, but just couldn't get his shot away in time. As Marquinhos drives the ball up the inside left channel for Brazil, headed away by Widmer, running back towards his own goal line, and it's gone out to play for a Brazil throw right by the corner flag. There's a Brazil fan who looks like he's praying in the stands. Surely that's not necessary already. Late in the first half here. Remember, a win for either team takes them through to the knockout stages. After Cameroon and Serbia drew earlier 3-3 in a spectacular match, and that means those two sides both have a point apiece. Brazil and Switzerland coming in with a single win from their one game. prior to tonight. Alexandro, little touch on the slide to try and find Vinicius Junior, but Akanji will sweep it away nonchalantly. Hangs it high up towards the halfway line. Marquinhos cushioned header infield. Casemiro back to Thiago Silva. A deft touch under pressure from So. And Thiago Silva now carries the ball to the halfway line. The angled ball to the near side. And Rafinha, he's midway into the Brazil half. Looks to thread it forward towards Richarlison. Unlikely it would reach him. Elvedi's there to clear. And Elvedi back to goalkeeper Sommer. And Sommer, under pressure from Richarlison, chips the ball out to the right. A great ball from the goalkeeper. And Vidmer infield to So on the halfway line. Now that he's got space breaking between the lines to race into, but again he checks his run. That halts the momentum of the attack somewhat. And So playing in that number 10 role. And now it's with Rieder on the far side touchline into the chest of Sandro. Alexandro, and out of play for a Switzerland throw. Not a great deal of ambition from the team in red there.
No, and Brill and Bolo must be frustrated. He's not had anything to feed off. You know, when they've got in a good position, they've opted to either go sidewards or backwards. You know, he's been in great goal-scoring form this season for Monaco.
Xhaka's ball back towards Akanji wasn't a good one. He's in a foot race with Richarlison. Akanji had a head start, manages to get it back to Sommer. Had to be careful, the goalkeeper. Found Elvedi, and he was careful. And the Swiss have it back.
Akanji there, good turn of pace. Really showed his class.
Now Ricardo Rodriguez to the outside left channel, and Vargas led with the edge of the 18-yard box. Plenty forward in the box for Switzerland. Back it goes to Rodriguez, infield to So, heavy touch, one back by Vinicius Junior. Now Lucas Paqueta pokes it down the left-hand side. Richarlison's going to chase this. Akanji slides in and times the tackle well. He had to. Richarlison's gone down, clutching his right leg. That's always a worry for Brazil, given what happened to both Neymar and Danilo. I think as well as getting the ball, he did get some of the man, Akanji. Richarlison's back on his feet though.
He can certainly match Richarlison for pace there, Akanji.
Here is Thiago Silva for Brazil on the halfway line. To the right, Rafinha, who's looked like one of their brightest sparks going forward, Brazil. Remember, it was 0-0 at half-time against Serbia last Thursday, and goalless here again at the World Cup for Brazil. Marquinhos forward to Vinicius Junior with his back to goal, and again the Swiss sitting very deep indeed. 9 of the 10 outfield players really, and actually Mbolo is back in his own half as well, so it's only Alisson in the Brazil half. Everything is in play to our right at the moment. Thiago Silva.
I think the intentions are quite clear. Switzerland are going to get to half time, try and be 0-0 with only a few minutes to go, and then likewise in the second half.
2.5 minutes of stoppage time plus any injury time added. You're with Talk Sports. Here is Casemiro chipping it high towards the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Akanji, flicked further clear by Freuler and then by Vargas. It's come to Militao, juggles the ball, gets it back from Fred. Militao has drifted into a central position. Now they knock it back out wide, the near side, and Rafinha again shaping to work it onto his favoured left foot. Rafinha back to halfway, and Thiago Silva again. Brazil having to be really patient here. Had a flurry of goals in the 2 games earlier, but none yet at Stadium 974. Rafinha, a couple of step overs, crosses in from the edge of the penalty area, and it's headed away and behind by Elvedi, and Brazil force a corner with 90 seconds of the first half to go.
Well, Rafinha hasn't really gone on his right foot once in this first half. He's always looked to get it on his left and then play in, but he's got a reward of a corner.
Marquinhos and Thiago Silva among those forward. Rafinha, left-footed in swinger. Thiago Silva came across at the near post. Last touch off the Swiss man, I think it was Xhaka. Another Brazil corner, second in quick succession. Their 4th of the game, 0-0.
Great defending now. Thiago Silva looked like he was ready just to pounce and score a goal.
Oh, now they've dimmed the lights here for some reason at Stadium 974. The referee's going to have to stop the game until they put them back on. Well, well done to whoever that was. We're not done yet. The show's happening on the pitch when the players are on it. Not at any other time. Rafinha will take the corner, and Brazil still have plenty forward, as you would expect. In fact, everybody's back for Switzerland. Rafinha's delivery, punched away by Sommer, almost dropped for Casemiro, and now it's cleared away, only as far as Alexandro, a thumping header towards the dead ball line. Rafinha's pulled it back, the flag goes up, it has gone out of play, and it will be a goal kick. Sommer flapping around, but it stays Brazil 0, Switzerland 0 on Talk Sport.
Well, he was surprised by the corner by Rafinha. It gets whipped in, and Jan Sommer, it comes to him very quickly and elects to punch it away, and the ball's like a pinball in the 18-yard box, but Switzerland get away with that one.
Noise of the Brazilian fans again all around this two-tiered stadium. Alvedi forward to Freuler. Freuler can skip towards halfway. 1 minute of added time on Talk Sport at the end of the first half. Infield by Vargas to Freuler. Great ball out wide. He's got Embolo. Embolo trying to dart into the box. Blocked off by Eder Militao. And now it's the Swiss who will win a corner and finishing strongest at the very end of the first half.
Well, really good bit of positive play. We haven't seen enough of that in the first half by Switzerland. But Embolo gets down the left. Just cuts inside Militao. Gives away a corner. So Switzerland in the last minute of the first half get the rewards.
Two centre-halves are forward. Vidmer is there as well. It'll be Vargas to take it. There are two balls on the pitch, so Vargas has to knock one out of play. Brazil with everybody back. A little wind just sweeping through the press box here. And Vargas, one arm up into the air, delivers right-footed. The flick at the near post by Akanji, headed away, and then steered further clear by Fred up towards the halfway line. We've had the minutes of added time, and that is the half-time whistle at Stadium 974. And both sides deadlocked. It's been a very cagey encounter. The best chance has come for Brazil. Great reverse ball in by Rafinha, and Vinicius Junior's effort on the volley was tipped behind by Jan Sommer. Alisson has not yet been tested, but the Swiss digging deep and standing firm so far on a night where a win for either team would take them through to the knockout stages. At the break, they're level. It's Brazil 0, Switzerland 0.
As the players make their way down the tunnel at half-time, Brazil wondering what they've got to do to break down this Swiss side. Brazil have not faced a shot on target in the opening 1.5 games at this World Cup. Just about says it all. Time now for the half-time highlights on TalkSport with Carling.
Half-time highlights on TalkSport with Carling. We're made by our mates. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Well, Tony Cascarino was the first half that needed livening up, so they put the lights out.
Yes. I thought they hadn't paid their energy bill for a minute, Aid. No, look.
What, in Qatar? You're absolutely sure about that? I think you said it in commentary, the Swiss want a point out of this. They're not venturing forward very much at all. They haven't had anything on target. I think they've had 2 off target. They're not adventurous. They want a dull point out of this game, but it's up to Brazil to break them down.
Yes, I think you're 100% right, Aid. Look, losing to Brazil is never a bad thing because they're such a talented group of players. They've made their indications quite clear. They've been in 2 or 3 occasions, been in great positions and opted to come out and then go the other side, or a pass inside to a midfielder. Wasted opportunities. And I said before the game, respect Brazil, but don't give them too much. And I think Switzerland have done that, but the coach will be delighted. He's walking in at half-time thinking, we're still in this game. They haven't caused us, apart from the Vinicius Junior chance. They've had very little opportunities. Paqueta made a great ball that could enable maybe a second opportunity for Brazil. I think they've done it's the right game plan for me. I think Switzerland have to stay this way, and they might get a golden opportunity, because it's very rarely you go through a game with not a mistake happening where you get that chance to make the difference and go 1-0 up. I think they're doing everything right for the 2 centre-halves. Kanji's been superb. He's given very little change to Richarlison. It's been a game that's not an inch been given, if I'm honest, Aid.
Akanji, just very quickly on him, you're right. I think he's a little bit underrated. Don't get talked about enough for Manchester City. 44 caps. He's 29. I think that might surprise some fans who've watched him in the Premier League. He's not a youngster, and he only costs £15 million. Pep has said that with the ball he's a magnificent player. We've seen in the tackle and defensively, magnificent player as well. Yeah,
when he showed a real turn of pace in a couple of occasions in the first half, and you're right, comfortable on the ball. You think for £15 million, okay, why is he £15 million when he's 29 years old? But even that, Koulibaly was 30-odd million for Chelsea. And I would say, I'm looking at Akanji and Koulibaly from the start of this season, they're miles apart. Akanji looks a far more accomplished player, and a slightly bit younger than Koulibaly. Really comfortable in his first half.
The 2 efforts that Brazil did have on target, the Vinicius Junior one you mentioned, Rafinha cutting in and unleashing, but it was straight at the goalkeeper. I think the Vinicius Junior one, he's got to do better. It kind of comes off his inside thigh or inside knee a little bit. It doesn't connect properly with it. He has caused problems. He drew some fouls early on as well with his pace, but I'm looking for a little bit more from him, especially in the absence of Neymar.
Yeah, I'd be exactly the same way of thinking, Aid. Sylvain Vidra has done really, really well in handling him in the first half, and he's got such a burst of pace that when he goes out a right back, he can really cause him problems. I think the chance is a difficult one. He gets a little bit flat-footed because Rafinha plays it with his left foot, and it's always coming into him, and it's a hard one to connect with. He doesn't do the best. OK, Jan Sommer makes a really good save, but you're right, a player of that quality can easily convert that.
It is Brazil 0, Switzerland 0. That was a look at the half-time highlights on TalkSport with Carling. We're made by our mates, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly.
Halftime highlights on TalkSport with Carling. We're made by our mates. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. World Cup Game Day live on TalkSport, presented by Carling. Carling. We're made by our mates. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly.
Yeti was having a bad fur day. Again. Poor love. So when he heard there was up to 40% off in the Amazon Black Friday week, he treated himself to a volumizing hairdryer. So he could be furry and fabulous. Looking fly, hairy guy. Get up to 40% off in the Amazon Black Friday week. Ends midnight.
At Asda, score yourself a great meal deal for the footy. Pick 2 mains, 2 sides and a drink, all for just £10. There's something for everyone, from pizzas to pasta bakes, fries to cheesy dough balls, plus your choice of beer or soft drink. For fans of great value, it's game on. Selected Asda stores and lines, subject to availability. Mains £4 each, sides and drinks £3, drink aware.
Well, here we go. Let's go out there and show them what we're capable of.
Yes, boss.
And remember, always work as a team.
Yes, boss.
And above all, remember our secret weapon. U-Power safety shoes. Comfortable, light, but at the same time strong and resistant. That way we'll have finished all our work by tonight, but still feel rested.
Yes, boss.
Let's get to work, guys, with U-Power. U-Power, my choice. Find your closest dealer on our website, u-power.it/EN.
I didn't know you sold that. We hear this all the time. Well, guess what? Here at Magnet Trade, we don't just sell kitchens. We got everything you need to get the job done. From timber, sheet, plasterboard and insulation, to silicons, adhesives, doors and floors. Plus, our trade customers get exclusive trade discounts, amazing offers and promotions, and even referral rewards when their customers buy direct through our showrooms. Open a Magnet Trade account today. Results!
At William Hill, we get the value of the World Cup.
Best chance in 66.
The value of the players.
They've got some decent strikers.
The value of the draw.
Wales, England, unbelievable.
The value of your bet.
Wow, that's great odds.
That's why during the World Cup, William Hill is giving you more epic value. Get behind your team with William Hill's Epic Odds, our biggest value offers of the tournament. Now that's epic value. All tournament. It's who you play with. William Hill. Online and in shop for Plus card holders only. Max £10 stake. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Well, this is an interesting lineup. He goes in with a chicken McNugget, a cheeky pass on the barbecue dip, nice move there, and sour cream's left open on the edge of the box, and there they come with a chicken select. Oh, what a performance!
Fancy a McDelivery? Come together this FIFA World Cup with the new McDelivery chicken combo. 20 chicken McNuggets, 10 chicken selects, 8 dips, all for just $15.99. Exclusively for McDelivery. Until the 18th of December from 11 a.m. Participating restaurants only. Price may vary. Delivery fees apply. 18 plus. Subject to availability.
Oh, great game yesterday, eh, son?
Yeah, Dad. It was brilliant. Do you think Iran would keep their 4-1-4-1 formation? And who would they play up front? What colour is their away kit? And do they really have the lowest goals per game ratio of any nation to play more than 10 games at the World Cup?
Yeah. Pass me that copy of Goals, will you?
Get all the World Cup match previews and analysis in The Sun's free Goals Pull-Out every single day of the tournament. Only inside The Sun.
World Cup Game Day, live on TalkSport. Presented by Dobble from Asmodee UK. Double, double, double. Oi, oi, oi. Dobble, available at all good retailers.
TalkSport.
The very best from the Middle East. Online, on your mobile, and on your super smart speaker. World Cup Game Day Live with Adrian Durhan. Live from Qatar.
TalkSport.
Well, you're listening to World Cup Game Day Live on TalkSport, presented by Carling. We're made by our mates, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Coming up to 5 o'clock where you are here in Qatar. Coming up to 8 o'clock we are just 5 minutes walk from the beach on the Persian Gulf, and there's a nice little breeze every now and then that just cools things down a little bit inside Stadium 974. On the pitch it needs hotting up. It is Brazil 0, Switzerland 0. Let's look at the latest odds with William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport with William Hill. Get epic value all tournament with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
So let's have a look at the half-time odds. Brazil 0, Switzerland 0. Brazil to go on and win it 3-4 on. The draw's 7-4. Switzerland to win it 13-2. Richarlison to score first was 10-3. It is now 9-2. Thanks to William Hill. Get epic odds with William Hill. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. begambleaware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport with William Hill. Get epic value all tournament with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
So Wales take on England live on TalkSport tomorrow evening. Coverage starts at 5 and the game at 7 p.m. your time for a place in the knockout stages of the World Cup. Ahead of the match, Wales manager Rob Page spoke about whether he plans on starting Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey.
It's a big ask for anybody in this environment to go 4 days later from one competitive game to another, but like I said, I'm going to pick a team that I think will go out and compete against England, whether that's with them, without them. You'll have to wait tomorrow to find out that answer. Of course, I'm not going to give that away today, but you know, if they don't start, can they come on and have an impact? That's always been my dilemma whenever you play Nations League games back home in Europe. You know, playing games in quick succession, I've always had that dilemma with them. If they start one game, can they start the next? So my thought process won't be any different to that. Whether they come on and have an impact, or whether they start and can last an hour, 90 minutes. You know, they are talented footballers.
There you go, Rob Page, the Wales manager. Tony Cascarino, I was with Joe Shannon and Dean Saunders this morning, and Dean was plotting moves with the salt and pepper pots and all that. And we were talking about former footballers who are at this World Cup, like yourself, like Dean. And I said, there's another one, Gareth Bale. I think that could come back to bite me, saying that. Ooh. That could come back to hurt me. Would you start Bale and Ramsey tomorrow if you're Rob Page?
You're going to have to. You know, you're going to...
They've got other players in the squad.
Yeah, they have, Aid, but I don't think there's an alternative. I don't think Welsh fans would want that. And I don't even think other team players would. I think they've relied so much on them two players. You just hope and pray that they turn up on the day and play as good as we know they can do. Gareth Bale looks a miles off his best. You know, I said probably a year and a half ago that Gareth Bale's been a sub and missed a lot of football, missed pre-seasons. He's not been really used at Real Madrid. He went to Spurs, he went into the team, then got left out the side. Jose Mourinho didn't think he could play him enough. You know, and then he goes to LA and he's not playing again. He's been a substitute there as well. So he doesn't feel like he's been a footballer to me for the best part of 2 years. Can he give one final performance for Wales and get something out of the game? Look, adrenaline can take you a long way, Aid. And that's what's going to be the driving force for Gareth Bale tomorrow and many other Welsh players. And, you know, what better occasion than to be England, to play England in a group game where you've got something to play for. They are hanging on because obviously the other result has to go for them as well.
Yeah, it does. Gareth Southgate, we heard from him sitting down and talking to our England correspondent Faker Others a little bit earlier on in the show, pre-match actually. Since then, Gareth Southgate has done a press conference, been talking about Gareth Bale. He was asked how he's going to defend against Gareth Bale, and he said, kind of depends what role he's got, but he also did say, and he's correct here, that Gareth Bale is still capable of individual moments of brilliance in and around the penalty area and from distance as well. He's very conscious that he's no busted flush, and he still could come up with that one moment.
Well, he's not going to criticise him, is he, Aid? You know, if you were privately...
Is he wrong there, though?
Well, yeah, I mean, Gareth isn't the player he was. If you make it difficult for him and get tight and don't give him any space, Gareth doesn't look like he's got the ability now to get out of trouble, get out of a situation where he can then have a shot on goal, find the pass. He doesn't look like that at the moment. I hope I'm proved wrong, that he can show us the real Gareth Bale that we've seen, that went to Europe and absolutely was a storm. Won loads of trophies. I can't think of a player that's achieved so much as Gareth Bale moving abroad, which he has done. Is he the player he was? I can't see it at the moment. My biggest concern was he didn't really even look for the ball. Them balls that players are on the ball, they're thinking, here, Gareth, have it, in spaces or little pockets. He never really showed, and that would have bothered me if I was a teammate of him, because I just don't see it.
Aaron Ramsey, by the way, was in that middle with Ampadu when Rob Page decided to bring on the wingers, and it left Ampadu isolated because Ramsey was all over the place, tactically ill-disciplined.
Yeah, and a big ask for Ampadu, because they were literally run all over by Iran, and you felt sorry for him. And I get why Rob Page thinks he needs to win the game, and maybe different options. Also, Kiefer Moore, can he do 90 minutes? I think he's really vital to them. But that big centre forward, 6'4", running all during the afternoon, like it was in Qatar, it was a difficult afternoon for him. I don't think he's got 90 minutes. I think Wales suffer from probably having 3 or 4 players that can't do 90 minutes, and they don't have the depth in their squad.
It is evening tomorrow night, so that makes a slight difference. Might help some of those ageing Welsh players a bit. And by the way, you talk about Gareth Bale doing well abroad. You didn't do so bad yourself abroad, mate.
Yeah, I
did okay.
I think he's won quite a lot more than I did, and he played for Real Madrid. And don't even compare me, AD. He's been brilliant. I'd say up until the last 2 years, he'd done a long stint at Real Madrid with a lot of success. He'll be remembered for that, but I just don't think he's the player he once was.
Looking at this game here, Switzerland are back out, Brazil on their way out. We are looking for goals here. Brazil's last 6 World Cup goals, 8 of the last 9 have come in the second half of games, and that's when they're effective. They'll need to be in this second half. And also a little stat on subs for you, Tony. 18 goals from subs so far at this World Cup. There were 15 in total scored by subs at the last World Cup.
Yeah.
I know we've got more subs, but it's a remarkable stat.
Oh, and absolutely, and coaches are definitely using their subs to make a difference. That's what substitutes are meant to do. You bring them on to make a change. Different formation, different tactics, and if they can, which they've certainly done that in this tournament, we'll see today as well. We'll see a number of substitutions, many as 6, maybe more. Can they make a difference? Brazil have got enough good ones on the bench.
They have Bruno Guimaraes, Gabriel Jesus, Anthony is there as well, and Gabriel Martinelli as they came out for the second half. Brazil, it's not them that made a change, but it's the Swiss. It is Brazil 0, Switzerland 0. I think Brazil might have made a change actually. To tell us more, your commentary team of Tony Cascarino and Joe Shannon.
Yes, it's Brazil who've made the half-time substitution. Rodrigo on the ball now has replaced Lucas Paqueta at half-time. So just the one change for either side, and it's come for Brazil. Rodrigo for Paqueta. Alisson is the goalkeeper. Militao, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva and Alexandro. Casemiro and Fred, with the newly arrived Rodrigo playing in the number 10 role. Vinicius Junior and Rafinha out wide. And it is Richarlison up front. And for Switzerland, the goalkeeper is Sommer. A back four of Vidma, Akanji, Elvedi and Rodriguez. Freuler and Xhaka holding, with Rieder, So and Vargas behind Embolo up front. And on this mild night, lots of spectators still coming back to their seats. The second half are just under a minute old, and Alisson has the ball. Alisson, who hasn't had a shot to save across the entire tournament so far, as Brazil look long with Alexandro, pumps it deep into opposition territory. Vinicius Junior is chasing, but the offside flag is up. Switzerland have a free kick, and here is the former Ireland striker Tony Cascarino.
Well, strangely enough, in the start of the second half, I just see Fred alongside Richarlison when Brazil had the ball, which is, I think it's going to be Rodrigo dropping in deep at times and Fred moving into a forward position, which seems hugely unlikely a system to play, but that's how Brazil have started this second half.
Tite, the coach, has reacted. Paqueta had a couple of lovely touches in the first half, but has come off. Casemiro looking to stride through the middle for Brazil, steers it wide instead to the left-hand side, and Richarlison's deep cross is headed away from the middle of that Swiss back line. Granit Xhaka was back there, and Embolo's fouled 10 yards shy of halfway. It is Brazil playing from right to left in this second half, towards the end that houses a massive chunk of their supporters, all sorts of flags behind that goal. Brazil in the canary yellow shirts, blue shorts and white socks, and Switzerland here at Stadium 974 playing from left to right, and Switzerland are all in red. Remember, a win for either team would take them through into the knockout stages, and joining France, who have got themselves through so far. And in fact, we saw France secure their passage here against Denmark just a few days ago. Portugal against Uruguay commentary still to come on TalkSport. Nico Elvedi has the ball. Brazil 0, Switzerland 0, and he's won a throw for Switzerland out on the far side, their left back position. And well, we talked about it in the first half, Tony. They have an amazing embarrassment of riches in terms of the attacking subs that Tite can bring on. Are you surprised that he's made that change at half time?
Not well. I thought Paqueta was really decent in the first half. He made a couple of inspirational passes and was really bright. Whether it's an injury, I don't know. I'm surprised. But maybe he thinks he needs an extra body alongside Richarlison. And Rodrigo's the man, I'm sure, will do that in this second half.
Richarlison has been quite isolated in the game so far, but Brazil do tend to come on strong in the second halves of matches at World Cup, so we will see. They certainly did that against Serbia on match day 1. Rodriguez has the ball for Switzerland. He's in the left back position. He's standing over a free kick, which I think he'll just play square. In fact, he steers it back to the feet of Elvedi, and the ball goes all the way back to goalkeeper Sommer in bright blue. Elvedi looking to dart forward up towards halfway, the centre half, forward to Embolo, who scored the winner on match day 1, and now Arsenal's Granit Xhaka, square to Akanji of Manchester City. Widmer's over the halfway line, in front of an empty Swiss technical area. Murat Yakin, the coach, who is the brother of the Swiss legend Hakim Yakin, just sitting down at the moment, and Tite, the Brazil boss, arms folded on the edge of his technical area. Brazil have it back, and Thiago Silva in possession. Quite a leisurely atmosphere, and actually quite a one-pace start to the second half, Tony.
Yes, it scarily looks like Switzerland are going to hold out for a 0-0, because they certainly, it's ponderous. You know, there seems no zip in the game at the moment.
A bit of lethargy about the way the game has been paced. It is quite mild, as I say. It's certainly not as hot and humid as it has been at Stadium 974 in the past. There's no air conditioning at this stadium. And Fred will bring the ball down just shy of halfway, completely unchallenged by anybody in red, but the Swiss territorially are content to allow Brazil to have possession until really they reach the final third, and then they begin to press. Here's Vinicius Junior, yellow boots on, wins a throw off Widmer in the Brazil left wing position, takes it quickly back to Alex Sandro, and now Rodrigo flicks it through the legs of Freuler, and he's caught, he's fouled, and that might be a yellow card for Rieder, and Brazil have a free kick in their left wing position.
Yeah, I think it was for an elbow. Rieder just catches Rodrigo. Yeah, an elbow.
No. Then Freuler came in behind, but good spot, Tony.
Yeah, it was an elbow. I'm just looking at Widmer, and he's literally hasn't left the side of Vinicius Junior.
It's been an effective man-marking job so far. In contrast to the Serbian approach, they elected to use zonal marking against Brazil on match day 1. Here's Marquinhos. The free kick was just shuffled from left to right. Now Rafinha far side. He has looked dangerous in the game. Rafinha driving towards the edge of the box. Can he get his cross in? He tried to look for Fred. It came off the leg of So, and it's swept out of play by Ruben Vargas. Every game at the World Cup in the Qatari Desert, live on the TalkSport network. We've got Portugal against Uruguay to come, and you heard from the Wales boss Rob Page at half time. England against Wales tomorrow at 7. Our build-up underway at 5 o'clock. And tonight, if you're looking for the FA Cup third round draw, that will be on TalkSport 2. Crossfield ball by Marquinhos, chested down brilliantly by Vinicius Junior. Infield immediately to Rodrigo, who collects possession 25 yards out and left of centre. Little injection of pace out wide to Rafinha with the pass. Rafinha's in swinging cross, not good, headed away by Xhaka. Not enough on that ball. Taken up by So, who is then tripped by Fred, and a free kick to Switzerland 10 yards shy of halfway. And now Fred is booked, and the referee from El Salvador, Ivan Cisneros, who was certainly not quick to produce the yellow card in the first half, has done twice in a couple of minutes, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, just over 50 minutes gone, and I've got to say Rafinha has come on his left foot way too often. I just think if he can just take Rodriguez down that side, on his right side, just once or twice, because it looks like he just wants to get on his left foot every time and then put balls into the box, which, to be fair, have been quite flat and been intercepted quite comfortably by the Swiss back line.
Brazil having plenty of the ball, but the Swiss look relatively comfortable, defensively at least at the moment. Here is the tall Akanji, back to the captain Xhaka on halfway. Akanji square and infield to Elvedi. The world's media here surrounding us in the press box, and so many Brazilian fans in the stadium, almost all of them wearing replica shirts. We got to the game 4 hours early and they were already assembling. Xhaka crossfield ball, great ball towards Vidma. Vidma's brought it down in the penalty area, he plays it across. Thiago Silva's there, Reader is there. Can they get the shot away? So blocked off by Vinicius Junior. Well, what a take by Vidma. He steered in the cross. Nobody in red there though to turn it in. What an interception by Thiago Silva.
Well, Vidma must have a nosebleed. That's the first time he's got in that position all game. And what does he do? He puts in a great ball right across the face of the box. And luckily for Brazil, Thiago Silva makes a great challenge, a good block. But for the first time, Vidma ventured forward.
Brazil were undone there. What a pass from Granit Xhaka to find Vidma. His cross wasn't bad either. It's the 20-year-old Reader who was closest to it. Slide tackle from Alex Sancho on Vidma on the near side, battling and tussling together. The ball has been poked in field and Switzerland are having a good spell here. It's an opportunity for Freuler, back to Mbolo, edge of the D, outside is Vargas. Vargas into the penalty area, right-footed shot! Blocked at the near post by Fred, and Switzerland have a corner away to our right in front of that small pocket, a couple of hundred or so behind the goal.
Well, real positive play by Switzerland. Good play, had an opportunity about a minute or so ago, and again, Mbolo switched the play to Vargas. He came inside and gets blocked, but gets a corner for the Swiss team.
Plenty forward in red. Brazil with everybody back. It's 0-0 on Talk Sports. Is the game coming to life? 9 minutes into the second half. Vargas will whip in the corner. Right-footed, in swinging, punched away by Alisson, double-handed. Headed back in by Rodriguez. The flick by Akanji. Easy take for Alisson inside his own 18-yard box. And he thumps the ball high and downfield up towards Rafinha straight away, but Ricardo Rodriguez is there again with a brilliant header downfield. Immediately though, Brazil are back on the ball. It's nudged to the right hand side and Militao. Early pass towards the edge of the box is swept clear by Remo Freuler. Well, maybe, Tony, this game is going to finally open up and liven up a bit in the second half.
Well, as in the last couple of minutes, but I do think that defenders are getting the better of the forwards at the moment. Whether it's the fullbacks against the winners, the centre half against the forwards, centre forwards, I feel the defenders are just coming out on top.
The Swiss readying at least one change down below us. Our commentary position high up in the main stand, just to the right of the halfway line, and we have a steep drop down below to the Swiss dugout. The dugouts are illuminated with the flags and names of both teams, and it is Edmilson Fernandez wearing number 2 who is going to come on. He's the cousin of the former Leicester player Gelson Fernandez. And here is Akanji for Switzerland bringing the ball out of defence. It remains goalless on Talk Sport. The ball with Reader, lovely shuffle away from Casemiro, but then he pokes the ball cross-field under pressure and straight out of play. I think they're going to bring on Renato Steffen as well, the Swiss. He missed match day 1 due to injury. The ball is back with Alisson, the goalkeeper, under pressure from Mbolo. Has to be careful. He's been blocked off Alisson and he got so lucky. The clearance came off Mbolo, and fortunately for Alisson and Brazil, it fell to the feet of Casemiro. On now through the middle, up towards Fred. To the left is Rodrigo. Steers it further wide, and Vinicius Junior flicks in the cross. Brilliant ball in. Richarlison facing goal. Couldn't quite reach it. Outside of the boot from Vinicius Junior. What a cross. Asking to be turned home. Richarlison stretched. Couldn't get there.
Well, wonderful ball by Vinicius Junior. Outside of his right foot as he attacked Vidma, the right back. And just half a yard in front of Richarlison. Could he have got there? Very tight. Got to say, Alisson twice in this game so far. He's got caught on the ball. Nearly give away the ball to Mbolo.
Bruno Guimaraes is going to come on for Brazil in just a moment. The man who's enjoying such a fine season in the Premier League with Newcastle United. And as well as that, Swiss change. Actually, Edmilson Fernandez has gone to sit down, so maybe it's only Steffen coming on for them. Anyway, we'll find out in a minute as Brazil win a free kick just inside the Swiss half. They take it quickly. We have had 12 minutes of the second half. Rodrigo darting forward with the score still 0-0. Great run by Rodrigo. Past 2 in red, but not beyond Vidma. Vidma will knock it out of play. And the referee hasn't had the call to make those changes just yet. Brazil play on. It's with Alexandro, midway inside the Swiss half, blocked off on the near side of the field by Rieder. The game doesn't quite feel as cagey or as one-pace now. Certainly there's more intensity in the play of Brazil and Switzerland too. Alexandro retreating back towards his own dugout. It's out of play, a Swiss throw. Here come those changes, and it's Fred off for Bruno Guimaraes. And what a moment for him, his World Cup debut. He said making the squad was an obsession for him. He's made the squad and he's onto the field successfully now. And for the Swiss, it's Vargas coming off, and Fernandes, the man with his number up. And Fernandes will take to the field as Vargas jogs towards the near side, and Rieder also leaving the field, and Stefan his replacement. So it's a double Swiss change, and both wide players coming off Tony Cascarino.
Yeah, obviously wide areas, the Swiss players have really put a lot of energy into the game. Maybe just needs a little bit more legs, the Swiss coach Yakin.
They have worked extremely hard in this game, and they are holding firm against Brazil, who have made 2 changes themselves before the hour mark. A throw that Widmer will take right in front of the Swiss dugout, long up the middle, headed away by Casemiro. Richarlison gets to the loose ball in the centre circle, but now it's back with Granit Xhaka. Xhaka clips it to the left-hand side, and it's controlled on his chest by Edmilson Fernandes, and that will be a free kick to Switzerland after a foul by Eder Militao. Shove in the back, Swiss free kick, halfway line, and it could, Tony, it really could go either way this game. You can't call it necessarily yet for either side.
No, and I think certainly the Switzerland team have held their own in this match. Yes, Brazil have had the odd occasion they look like they could break the deadlock, but it's a really tight affair.
And anything could still happen throughout this World Cup on TalkSport. Every game live with us. Bruno Guimaraes in the centre circle, blocked off by So, taken up by Fernandes. Good feet to poke it wide to the near side, and Stefan's first real touch in the game. Plays the ball to the edge of the box. Here's Edmilson Fernandes, lays it square. So shoots, he's blocked, and Embolo is in acres of space to the left of them in the penalty area. Either neither player saw him or they were both selfish. It's back with So though, darting down the left side, pulls it back towards the edge of the box. Fernandes again, straight into the action, he shoots, he's blocked off by the sliding Casemiro. And the Swiss go close again, but really Embolo should have had a golden chance to score. 0-0.
Well, he should have done, but I thought Fernandes chose the wrong option, passed it to him. Oh, he's on his left foot. I thought he had the goal at his mercy there, but he could have picked his spot. He could have given the lead against Alisson.
Alisson still not had a shot to save at this World Cup, but he may have one to save tonight. Brazil clear. Richarlison, mud on the back of his yellow shirt. Was he fouled by Akanji? He was. The referee has given Brazil a free kick midway inside their own territory, and a little bit of anxiety around the Brazilian crowd now. By this time on Thursday they were really starting to turn up the heat on Serbia, but that is not the case tonight, at least against the Swiss.
No, they're evenly matched. I just feel that Brazil will create a really big opportunity in this match, what with just 30 minutes to go plus added time.
Yeah, half an hour remaining. Tony Cascarino, a veteran of 2 World Cups with Ireland, with us for commentary tonight. Here's Vinicius Junior, left-hand channel, looking to dart in field. He's got Widmer in front of him. Vinicius Junior twisting and turning, waits for the run of Alexandro. Alexandro crosses, cleared away by Akanji, and whacked off the sliding boot of Alexandro by Widmer. And Switzerland have a throw in their right-back position, and Tite, the Brazilian coach, issuing instructions from the near-side touchline. Murat Yakin just takes a bit of water from the front of his dugout, the Switzerland boss. Widmer's throw long downfield. Quite a tense atmosphere now. Most of the noise is coming from the Brazil fans in the lower tier to our left, the end towards which they're attacking. Militao on the ball, infield to Casemiro, dinks it up the middle. Rafinha will chase. It was a decent idea, but overhit, and easy for Jan Sommer, who has only had really one save to make in the game, Cass.
Yeah, he has, and now Ricardo Rodriguez again stayed with, obviously, Rafinha as he cut inside. He's done that really well tonight. been some good performances for the Swiss team, especially defensively.
The Swiss play Serbia in their final group game, Brazil against Cameroon, both those matches live on the network, and neither team would be through yet as things stand. They'd both be on 4 points, so would occupy the top 2 places, with Cameroon and Serbia behind them both after their 3-3 draw earlier. It also finished South Korea 2, Ghana 3 in another thriller at this World Cup, and Portugal against Uruguay coming next at 7 o'clock. That's our final commentary of the day. England against Wales live tomorrow on Talk Sport, again at 7. Crossfield by Akanji from right to left. Fernandes sliding to try and keep it in. It was hit with tremendous pace. Fernandes was never likely to get to that ball, and it's a Brazil throw in their right back spot.
Yeah, Mercy up, pinged across there by Akanji. Fernandes had no chance of keeping it in. He made a great effort.
Here is Marquinhos for Brazil, midway inside his own half of the field. Well, we saw England less than convincing against the United States in their second game. France were not great against Denmark, but got the job done. Brazil have been lacking their sparkle so far tonight, but there is still plenty of time. 26.5 minutes plus stoppage time to be exact. Richarlison on halfway, pushes it on somehow towards Rodrigo. Great feet to nip in front of Vidmer. Now it's knocked to the left-hand side towards Vinicius Junior into the penalty area. Clear on goal! He finds the finish! It's Vinicius Junior for Brazil! And the crowd go wild at Stadium 974. What a moment for the 22-year-old! His first ever goal at a World Cup, and Brazil have the advantage. Brazil 1, Switzerland 0. Vinicius Junior the hero.
Well, I did say before the start of the game that, okay, Neymar's one of the greatest players that ever played for Brazil, but I really believe that Vinicius Junior can be the player that takes up that mantle. They lost the ball in the middle of midfield, and as Brazil broke, the ball comes across, just gets played by Casemiro, and I've got to say, what a way, keeps his head there, Vinicius Junior, on his right foot, side puts it beyond Jan Sommer, he can't get it, tries to get his feet to it, but it's placed perfectly in the corner, and he's given Brazil the lead.
Well, Neymar, after he scored the winner in the Champions League final, Vinicius Junior, Neymar said he was the best in the world. The best. Oh. He's certainly up there with the very best anyway.
Yeah, well, look, he's had a very difficult game, I feel. Vidmar's done terrific, keeping him, shutting him out all night, really, being there, tight marking him, stopping him, finding passes. But great players, like we saw with Lionel Messi the other night for Argentina, you give them one opportunity, they'll punish you. And that's exactly what Vinicius Junior has done tonight.
Brazil 1, Switzerland 0, and Brazil are heading through as it stands. Some breaking news for you. Mick Beale has been confirmed as the new manager of Rangers, and the referee here is checking for a possible VAR, and it is allowed. The goal will indeed stand.
Yeah, it must have been a really tight call, but the referee immediately, unfortunately for the Swiss, they really felt, oh no,
and the goal has been ruled out for offside. It's a free kick and it's 0-0, and Stefan has whipped across into the near side touchline. Allison has gathered it. Well, we're seeing on our screen here no goal, and 0-0 is the score on the scoreboard too, so that goal has been ruled out, and it's Brazil 0, Switzerland 0. There was a VAR check for offside that seemed to take place very late as both sides were ready to go again, and after a long VAR check, the goal has indeed been ruled out and it remains scoreless.
Well, the problem was, Joe, that the offside was given right next to the centre circle, well, literally on the centre spot. That was the weird thing, because the referee made the decision, but the ball was literally on the spot, and that was why I thought the goal, and us and everybody in the stadium thought the goal had been given.
So Vinicius Junior has not scored his first World Cup goal, and it's still Brazil 0, Switzerland 0, and we're into the final quarter of the game. Well, that is extraordinary. An offside in the build-up, so no goal.
I've never seen that, Joe.
They were ready to kick off again.
I've never seen the ball be literally on the centre spot.
And there was confusion on the big screen because at one point it said goal, and then a few seconds later, no goal. So confusion for the crowd as well. We can only assume that was offside. We'll try and get you an explanation as to what exactly happened and why that goal was disallowed, but it definitely has been ruled out, and it is still Brazil 0, Switzerland 0, and the frustrations for Brazil are only going to increase now, and Casemiro might talk himself into a yellow card. Now I can see it on our monitors again, Tony, and it's offside against Richarlison in the build-up to that goal. Richarlison was coming back from an offside position to retrieve the ball that was played on to Casemiro, and then it's knocked downfield to Vinicius Junior, and that's why it's offside. But they were ready to kick off, and on the big screen we had goal in front of us. Well, no goal, chalked off, 0-0 on Talk Sports. 22 minutes to go, Tony.
No, absolutely not. I don't get that decision at all.
Not happy with it?
No, Richarlison, he's left an offside position to come back and get the ball, but he's not, for me, I don't think he's interfering with play.
Vinicius Junior darting down the left-hand side, fouled by Akanji, surely! The referee says no. He has signalled a corner to Brazil. In fact, he's not. He's given a free kick to Brazil on the left-hand edge of the penalty area, so we thought he was fouled, and that is indeed the decision. Akanji on Vinicius Junior, 0-0.
He just comes across the line of Vinicius Junior there, Akanji, and the referee, okay, it's just on the left side of the 18-yard box. Good area.
Well, a great sense of confusion at times about this game. It's Rafinha and Rodrigo standing over it. It's level with the area between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. On the near side, the left, Brazil playing from right to left towards that massive band of supporters behind the goal, and they are still looking for the opening goal. Who will take it? Will it be Rodrigo or will it be Rafinha with his left foot? Switzerland have pulled everybody back. It will be Rafinha to dink in the delivery. Brilliant header away by Akanji. Comes out to Rodrigo, who lets it go all the way back to Alexandro, steers it high and long up the left-hand channel, and Rodrigo controls. He tries to wrestle the ball infield. He's had it wrestled off him. Comes back though to Alexandro, still plenty forward for Brazil. Flicked on at the far post by Marquinhos, and it's gone behind Casemiro. And it trickled out of play beyond him, and out of play for a goal kick to Switzerland. 20 minutes left, 0-0 here in Portugal against Uruguay to come.
Yeah, and whips in ball there. Marquinhos shouldn't get a clean header on the ball. Gets flicked and just can't, runs out for a goal kick.
Given away by Vidmer. Vinicius Junior trying to get in behind. It's steered clear by Akanji, only as far as Alexandro. Brazil piling on the pressure now. Steered away by Vidmer again. Flicked clear towards the halfway line by So. Well held up by Briel Embolo. Embolo with a great change of pace to shrug aside Marquinhos. So was calling for it to his right, but Embolo didn't see him. And now it's with Xhaka on the halfway line. Well, still a sense of bemusement about that offside decision, Tony.
Very much so. It has livened up the game, though. You know, from that moment, I was very confused about why the goal was disallowed, even seeing the replay.
Well, they will argue that Richarlison was coming back from an offside position. That could be the only explanation. And that's why, in the build-up to the goal, his layoff was important, and that's why it was ruled out. Akanji's on the halfway line, and Bolo trying a little flick, intercepted. Bruno Guimaraes knocks it immediately inside left channel. Great control by Vinicius Junior. Brazil darting forward. Here's Richarlison in the box. He shoots early, blocked by the sliding tackle of Nico Elvedi. Brazil want to make a double change. The Swiss want to make a substitution as well. That will all happen very shortly. And Xhaka has the ball midway inside his own half for Switzerland, and he's carrying it forward just at walking pace. Well, there was real confusion in the stands for the crowd when that goal was disallowed. They have even less information at their fingertips than we do, though. We weren't told about a VAR check until the very end either. Knocked long by Ricardo Rodriguez. Marquinhos in the way. Looks to find Militao. Back to the halfway line of Bruno Guimaraes. Brazil really trying to get on the offensive with 18 minutes left. Can they find the opening goal? Casemiro plays it square to Rodrigo. He's midway inside the Swiss half. The Swiss defending deep. Casemiro feeds Richarlison, trying to spin away from Elvedi, and it's back to the goalkeeper from Rodriguez and cleared away by Sommer. And of Cushioned header by Alexandro to the centre circle. Well, more changes on the way that we mentioned for Brazil. Gabriel Jesus is down there, and Anthony of Manchester United as well. So many options for Tite. Rafinha plays it down the right-hand channel. Bruno Guimaraes down by the dead ball line, crosses. It's come off the knee of Elvedi and bounced away for a Brazil throw. And are they going to make those changes? Well, Switzerland have got a sub readied too. So it's changes for both sides. And Michel Abichour is going to come on for Switzerland, but not before Richarlison goes off, and it's a straight swap with Gabriel Jesus, and no heroics for Richarlison tonight, Tony.
No, and he's battled away. Unfortunately, he's probably come off second best. I thought Akanji and Elvedi have really handled him well. He hasn't had much service either, giving him a little bit of credit. A great opportunity for Gabriel Jesus.
And it's Anthony of Manchester United on in place of Rafinha. And Switzerland are going to wait to make a double change in the end. Alexandro with the orange boots on, out to the near side, and the cross from Vinicius Junior looping, headed away by Elvedi, volleyed clear by Stefan, the Swiss sub. Just over 15 minutes to go, and real tension in the air at the Stadium 974. Anthony's left-footed cross, headed away by Elvedi again. Comes back towards Marquinhos, he nods it down, straight to Stefan. Stefan, risky ball back to Vidma, stabbed it long and clear. Now it's with Embolo, blocked off by Casemiro. Brazil have the ball back. There's a determination about Brazil now. Casemiro, they feel wronged by that disallowed goal. Vinicius Junior's got it, hugging the near side touchline, breezing or trying to breeze beyond the defender Vidma, who, credit to him, did get back to clear. 0-0.
He's doing a hell of a job, because Vinicius Junior is so dangerous. He wants to take his full back on, but the right back for Switzerland, Vidma, has done ever so well.
So many heavyweight contests at this World Cup. Portugal against Uruguay to come later on, 7 o'clock kickoff. And talking of heavyweight contests, live boxing this Saturday, Fury against Chisora, exclusively to TalkSport. There's a shove in the back. I don't know why he did that, Vidma. Ridiculous challenge on Vinicius Junior to concede an easy free kick in a dangerous position in the left wing.
Yeah, and Vinicius Junior had his back to the play. Like you said, he could have just shepherded him there, didn't need to make a challenge. Now it's give Brazil an opportunity of getting a cross in, wide out from the left, decent position.
Mentioned the changes for Switzerland. Abichour with the white boots on in place of So, and the change of striker too. Embolo goes off, and it's Haris Seferovic is on for Switzerland. They're number 9, but not a regular starter anymore these days. Usual flurry of substitutions as the game draws a little bit closer to its conclusion. We're struggling to keep up, aren't we, Tony, with all of this?
Well, this World Cup, so many substitutions that are, having the option of so many for the coach.
Rodrigo is over the ball for Brazil. Free kick, it's the left wing position. He'll whip it in high, right footed. He's blasted it way long, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. And, well, Brazil took until the second half to overcome Serbia. They may have to do the same against Switzerland. Both sides would be on 4 points, remember, as it stands, and neither team would be confirmed through to the knockout stages just yet. Either side would need a victory to do that. Switzerland haven't shown a great deal of ambition other than on the counter, but credit to them for holding firm up to this point. Hit long towards Abichour, who knocks it to the right-hand channel, and Vidma, high ball down the right-hand side. It's headed away. Another ball is with Bruno Guimaraes, juggles it over the head of Abichour, midway inside his own half. The Brazilian fans like that, samba style, but they need to get the ball forward. Bruno Guimaraes again. He's got Anthony making a great run out to the right-hand side. Long diagonal pass is headed away by Ricardo Rodriguez. 43,649 is the official attendance tonight. Capacity is just over 44,000, so I think there are a few more empty seats than is at least on the official attendance book. That may well be number of tickets sold, maybe. A lot of Brazilian supporters in, but they are quiet at the moment. Brazil really labouring here, Tony.
Yeah, just a bit too slow. I'm looking at Anthony and thinking, can you give Ricardo Rodriguez a a few more problems, especially trying to go around the outside of him on his right side, because I felt that Rafinha so often came on his left. Just give him a different thing to think about for Anthony.
It has been a World Cup where we've had some shocks, some thrillers, and a couple of very, very cagey goalless draws, more than one goalless draw. Here is Thiago Silva, the Brazil captain, on the halfway line. He's just looking for movement. Forward to Casemiro, floated high up the middle, down the right towards Gabriel Jesus. It's overhit, inside right channel. Couldn't control over his shoulder, inside the penalty area. Gabriel Jesus, who's been so outstanding for Arsenal, despite the fact that he has had quite a long run without scoring.
Well, that type of ball is very difficult, because when you play quite a straight ball, even though it just has a slight angle, it can run away from you on these pitches. They're very finely cut. You know, they're soaked before the game. The ball just seems to skid on slightly quicker.
Darting run on that far side of the field by Anthony. He was fouled, sandwiched in between two red shirts, and Seferovic was one of the players over there helping out his colleague Ricardo Rodriguez, and it was Rodriguez who sort of pushed Anthony out into touch, and Brazil have a free kick, right wing position. Switzerland, everybody back. Clearly Brazil the team going out to try and win the game, but you can understand Switzerland being a bit more conservative. 11 and a half to go, and they are heading for the point that I think probably before the game they'd certainly have taken.
Well, at least Anthony on that occasion tried to go around the outside of Rodriguez.
Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Casemiro, Militao. Among those forward, Gabriel Jesus is there as well. Swung in by Anthony and gathered at the near post by Sommer. Swung in too close to the goalkeeper. I think it might have taken a deflection on its way through, but Sommer was able to save.
They've defended really well tonight, Switzerland. You know, they really haven't given an inch in any shape or form.
Crossfield by Xhaka, great ball through the air. Xhaka's played like a real leader tonight. Widmer attacking down the near side, the right. He's got Arbischer in support. Back to Widmer, near side of the field. He nudges it forward to Steffen. Steffen led with the edge of the 18-yard box. Plays the ball backwards. Now to the feet of Xhaka. Xhaka wearing number 10. Can the Swiss pinch a goal, I wonder? Fernandes, far side the left, and it's Ricardo Rodriguez on the underlap. Overhit, and it's out of play for a goal kick.
Like I said earlier, Joe, that type of ball, when you slip it down the side, it's got to be inch perfect. It's going to get away from you.
Well, I wonder, will Tite be a little bit concerned by his side's often one-pace display? It's not easy when you have to break down a team as resolute as the Swiss, and in fact Switzerland, in the whole of qualifying, only conceded 2 goals. That is obviously very impressive in a group that included the European champions Italy. So they are tough to break down even against some of the best. Gabriel Jesus with an angled ball to the right, and Anthony darting forward now at good pace, attacking the corner of the penalty area, onto his left foot. Anthony still running, back to Casemiro. Can he hit it? And he's blocked off by Steffen, and the ball takes a big deflection and bounces out of play for a Brazil corner. Far side there right, 0-0.
Again, Anthony got the ball and he got it early, and he come inside and he's jinking one way and another. Okay, tried to pass the ball inside to Casemiro. He shot, deflected for a corner.
A heroes-like reception for Anthony, who will take this one. And lots of players crowding the penalty area in yellow shirts. Anthony, left-footed, to deliver into the 6-yard box, and headed away by Elvedi. Bruno Guimaraes with a header, and it's straight at the goalkeeper. Running onto that Bruno Guimaraes from the edge of the 18-yard box, and now the throw by Sommer, long downfield. It's for Arbischer to chase, and hooked out of play by Alexandra.
Yeah, nearly a break on there for Switzerland. Again, I don't think they need to do much more. I think if they can keep Brazil out and take something again, taking it forward to the next game, and they put so much effort in all over the pitch, all the duels. I think they've certainly come out best in most departments tonight. Switzerland and Brazil haven't had that moment. The one moment they did have was the goal that was given offside.
Here is Widmer, near side the right for Switzerland. He's rattled it into the heels of Alexandra, and it's steered away by Casemiro. Now Rodrigo trying to break beyond Xhaka. Well played Xhaka to hold him up, but Rodrigo has still got possession. Eder Militao herring forward on the overlap. The far side, the Brazilian right. Keeps it in play. Infield with the pass to Anthony. Anthony fleet-footed, Manchester United man, back to Bruno Guimaraes, and now Marquinhos, the number 4, wide to the near side, the left, and Vinicius Junior. Brazil looking to build here, Vinicius Junior, and now Casemiro shoots! Oh, Casemiro has scored! Into the top corner, and Brazil have surely won it! Casemiro, the most unlikely goal scorer, is Brazil's World Cup hero tonight! Switzerland's resolve is finally broken down. Brazil were not to be denied. Heading for 2 wins from 2. Heading for a place in the knockout stages. It is finally Brazil 1, Switzerland 0.
Well, I'm seeing images of Roberto Carlos smiling in the stands, and I've got to say I'm a bit proud of this one, because as Vinicius Junior cuts inside, a little flick, and it just lands at the feet of Casemiro. Instantly on the half volley, hits it straight to the top corner, takes a slight deflection, and Jan Sommer just is watching it go beyond him. What a fabulous strike. Yes, he gets a little bit fortunate, Casemiro, with a slight deflection, catches it beautifully and gives Brazil a 1-0 lead.
It did take a deflection off Manuel Akanji that helped steer it into the top corner, but it was on target. It's Casemiro's goal. There is a Brazil supporter holding a replica of the World Cup high up into the air. Ronaldo and Roberto Carlos greeting it with smiles in the stands, and Brazil finally have the goal they've been waiting for. Applause from the legends of the past, and maybe this new team, the class of 2022, can become legends of the present this winter. Brazil 1, Switzerland 0. It's not ruled out this time. And Casemiro, well, didn't feel like he had it in him, but he did, Tony.
Well, Casemiro has been an extraordinary player. He's been in Real Madrid for a long time. He was part of the trio of Toni Kroos, obviously Luka Modric, and he was known as the spoiler. Well, this season we've seen he's done it a couple of times for Manchester United, and now tonight for Brazil. It was a wonderful strike. Yes, he gets fortunate, but he instantly hit it as it bounced up for him, beautifully struck it, and Jan Sommer, absolutely no chance.
Ball is thundered long downfield by Alisson, high towards Gabriel Jesus. Stadium 974 shakes with Brazilian noise, and they're jumping up and down on top of these shipping containers that make up the stadium. Well, Brazil have been knocking at the door, and on the balance of play they deserve it. Gabriel Jesus inside right channel and shepherded out by El Beidi. Change on the way for both teams, and that will be the final change, I think. But first, Switzerland will come forward, knocked out of play by Arbish, a dreadful layoff. Well, it did take a deflection, and sometimes you need a little bit of luck, Tony Cascarino.
Oh, absolutely. You know, this game is about small margins at times, and Switzerland have been really good tonight with not really causing Alisson in the Brazil goal any problems, but they've always been in the game. It's been a real tight affair. You mentioned 2 goals conceded on qualifying. They've shown that tonight, Switzerland.
Brazil have made a change, a straight swap. Alexandro replaced by Alex Telles. He's just talking to a couple of the coaching staff there, Alexandro. They'll be hoping there's not an injury concern. And the Swiss change, Fry for Widmer. Now then, down the right is Anthony, edge of the penalty area. Can he get the cross in here, the Manchester United man? Anthony dribbles beyond Ricardo Rodriguez, who tries to get in front of him desperately. Rodriguez has somehow got himself between Anthony and the ball and has cleared long up towards Seferovic as the Swiss try to attack, but it's won back by Alex Telles, who was caught in front of the referee, who plays a good advantage. Vinicius Junior poking it forward to Rodrigo. On the outside left is Gabriel Jesus finding Rodrigo. Rodrigo streaking into the box, shooting! Tipped over by Sommer. Nearly 2 for Brazil.
Great movement. The game's opened up suddenly. OK, it's got to 85 minutes. But Brazil, and one thing's different with a South American team like Brazil, when they're 1-0 up, they'll probably go for the second, which is what they're trying to do.
Alex Telles, and now it's with Thiago Silva, midway inside the Swiss half, out to Anthony, caught on the penalty area, onto that left foot, curls it wide. You could see exactly what he was trying to do, trademark Anthony. Just to recap that Swiss change, because we almost missed it in the chaos. Fabian Frey has come on, and it is Widmer who's gone off. Now, have they gone to a back three, Switzerland? Anyway, they've hit it long for Seferovic up the middle. Thiago Silva hooking the ball away from nowhere. I don't know how he managed to do that, actually. They deserve it, though, Tony, don't they, the Brazilians? And I think for endeavour and the desire to actually win the game. And look at the scenes we're seeing around us, Tony. In the two tiers of the stadium, the Brazilian fans are waving their scarves and flags, and they believe that this is their year to win the World Cup once again for the 6th time.
Well, fabulous atmosphere, and they haven't had much to cheer because the type of game it's been really difficult to make a call on this match, but Brazil have always looked like they've just had that one occasion in them.
Well, they've got a free kick, right of centre, middle of the Swiss half. 2 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Brazil 1, Switzerland 0 here. And there are 3 Brazilians standing over the free kick, and Thiago Silva is staying put, staying back. Raucous noise. Rodrigo is standing over it, and the fullback Alex Telles is there as well. Alex Telles dinks in a high delivery, too long for Edo Militao. Sommer keeps the ball in play, and the Swiss are rapidly running out of time. Ultimately, Alisson again in the World Cup has not had a shot to save, and Brazil have a great record of clean sheets under Tite, and they're on the attack again here. Akanji's under real pressure. Goalkeeper Sommer had to come out. Now, it wasn't a back pass, says the referee. Last touch off the boot of Akanji, but wasn't a deliberate back pass. Xhaka sliding in on Anthony, almost giving it away. The Brazilians are finishing stronger, leading by a goal to 0. A minute to go plus stoppage time live on Talk Sport. Portugal against Uruguay still to come, and Gabriel Jesus did brilliantly, converged upon by 5 in red, and he's won Brazil a free kick, and now they can play out time.
Well, they don't do hanging on, do they? Brazil, all they want to do is try and get a second. I do think that Gareth Southgate can learn watching this game tonight about getting 1-0 leads and still having the forward momentum in their side, because this team is not going to take their foot off the pedal, Brazil.
Commentary of England against Wales tomorrow. Brazil 1, Switzerland 0. The last 30 seconds of normal time are being played. Plenty back for Switzerland rather. Not many forward for Brazil, only Jesus and Militao. Free kicks taken short, work back out wide to Rodrigo by Anthony. Now Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes finding Anthony caught in the penalty area. And Bruno Guimaraes again. He's lost possession. Seferovic forward towards Frey for Switzerland, and he's well tackled by a retreating Rodrigo. Brazilians made of defensive steel. You wouldn't necessarily think that naturally about a Brazilian side, led by the exemplary Thiago Silva. Exemplary, he's given it away. 6 minutes of added time. Swiss trail by a goal to 0. Xhaka's pass through the middle, straight to Alisson.
Well, you could certainly make a point tonight of Switzerland just haven't had that quality in the final third. You know, the biggest danger for Brazil has been Alisson, the ball at his feet. On 3 occasions he's given 2 away, and just before the last incident he nearly caused Brazil more problems.
It's another second half improvement for Brazil. Header away by Elvedi at just under a minute of the 6 added. Anthony, the game is not done yet. Switzerland free kick 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Stefan is up on his feet, and the Swiss have got to get the ball forward as quickly and as effectively as possible. They've got plenty of height in the team now, with Seferovic, who's a giant number 9, supported by Frey and Arbischer.
He hasn't been able to do anything, Seferovic, has he yet? No. So far, Thiago Silva, Marquinhos have handled him really well.
Tony Cascarino with us again tonight on Talk Sport. Lofted forward by Xhaka, high down the left-hand channel. Ricardo Rodriguez hasn't got the pace to reach that. He looks knackered. Eder Militao joggles it over his head and hooks it away. Nodded downfield by Xhaka, could drop to Arbischer. A clearing header by Casemiro, whose goal-bound deflection has Brazil a goal to the good. It's with Akanji. Square to Elvedi, just shy of the halfway line. The Brazilians ready to celebrate, but there are still minutes to be played. 4 and a bit to be exact. Well, you can't say 4 and a bit is exact, but you know what I mean. Just over 4. That's a contradiction in terms for you. Here is Ricardo Rodriguez, left-hand channel, swings in the cross. Arbisher there, headed away by Thiago Silva. Now we have 4 minutes to go. You know what I'm getting at?
Yes, I know, Joe. And hey, you get caught up in the match like I do. Look, it's not been the greatest game. We were fortunate earlier to watch, the Cameroon play.
Ricardo Rodriguez crosses towards Seferovic, away by Marquinhos this time. Then thumped into the air by Eder Militao. High towards Gabriel Jesus, held that up brilliantly. Pass through the middle is on. Vinicius Junior, he's got Rodrigo square. Vinicius Junior blocks off by Akanji. Selfish from Vinicius Junior.
Well, Akanji done brilliant there. Vinicius Junior wanted him to make a move, make a tackle, and he just delayed his tackle, just robbed Vinicius Junior of the ball.
1-0 Brazil, nearly 3 of the 6 added have been played. Bruno Guimaraes carrying it forward to halfway, and he's fouled by Xhaka. What have they shown you tonight, Tony Cascarino? Because it's not necessarily been a vintage Brazil display.
No, it hasn't, but they've got themselves in a position to win the game, and they've kept a clean sheet, and they kept a clean sheet in their opening game, and their centre-halves are really solid, their full-backs likewise, but we know Brazil have got talent going forward. If they have to win a game 1-0, so be it.
Thiago Silva has it, shy of halfway, clips the ball on from the free kick up towards Vinicius Junior, touched on to Rodrigo, blocked by Akanji. He drops to the ground, head in hands. That was the moment to finish the game.
Wow, what a golden opportunity. And Vinicius Junior outside of the boot, laid it in Rodrigo, and it gets blocked. They don't do 1-0, they want to go for 2, Brazil.
It's their instinct. Corner taken short, Brazil 1, Switzerland 0. Nearly 4 of the 6 added have been played. The ball is with Marquinhos, out to the right and Anthony. Back to Marquinhos on the halfway line. Marquinhos square, Thiago Silva, the Swiss chasing shadows as they chase a goal. It doesn't look like it's going to come. Alex Telles, lovely dummy by Vinicius Junior. The flick from Rodrigo. The Brazilians were trying to turn on the style there, but Akanji wins it back. Forward by Edmilson Fernandez, takes a deflection, comes back to Vinicius Junior. He's onside, down by the dead ball line. Gabriel Jesus in the middle. Vinicius Junior twisting and chipping in a cross, and it's cleared away. The Rabona cross from Vinicius Junior, and the Swiss steer the ball clear. This is more like it from Brazil. Lovely turn by Gabriel Jesus, edge of the box. It's a 1-0 lead. They're playing like it's a 5-0 lead, Tony.
Well, all tricks are coming. You can't believe this is like I said, they don't do hanging on. They really don't, Brazil. And it is wonderful to watch. An attitude that is just all about exciting and, brand of football that is just very adventurous at times.
They go forward and they don't stop searching for goals. Less than a minute of stoppage time to go. They're less than a minute away from the knockout stages, Brazil. 1-0 to the good here in Group G. The Swiss, it would come down to the final game for them. Quarter to Brazil.
One thing we mustn't ignore also, they're such a resilient side as well. You can see that. They give you very little. Their work rate, this Brazilian team's work rate, right across the pitch is exceptional.
Corner's taken short, very short. And Brazil will hold on to the ball with Gabriel Jesus down on the near side touchline. Fernandez is there. Fernandez will sweep it clear. Now then, 20 seconds left for Switzerland, who are only a goal down. Long ball by Xhaka, intercepted by Anthony. Seferovic, I don't think has had a meaningful touch since he came on. Referee has had a look at his watch. Brazil are nearly there. They are there! Into the knockout stages! Go Brazil! 2 wins from 2, and World Cup hopes rapidly turning into World Cup expectation. Great legends of the past, Roberto Carlos and Ronaldo, applaud in the stands. They have beaten Switzerland. They've done what they needed to do. And for Tite and co, the first stage of their quest for glory is accomplished. They will move into the last 16 of the 2022 World Cup. Vinicius Junior thought he'd scored the opening goal. That was belatedly ruled out for an offside in the build-up. But with 7 minutes left, Casemiro, via deflection, to see off Sommer and see off dogged Switzerland, who hardly created anything, it has to be said. And it is Brazilian joy and delight here this evening in Doha. The final score on TalkSport, Brazil 1, Switzerland 0.
Well, Switzerland might just as well have got out a knife and stabbed the football in the heart. They try to kill football here today, and thankfully, real football shone through and Brazil got the win. They are through, top of Group G on 6 points, Switzerland on 3, Cameroon on 1, Serbia on 1, and so to the last games in Group G, Brazil against Cameroon at Lusail Stadium where Brazil played the first game, and Switzerland-Serbia back here at Stadium 974. Again, for the second game running, Tony Cascarino, Brazil's opponents have not had an effort on target. That, to me, is unacceptable. All you're trying to do is stop Brazil, not create anything yourself, and I'm delighted that in both games, Brazil have got over the line.
Yes, Aid, I feel it's a little bit unfair on Switzerland because they're such a difficult team to play. You know, the flair that they have up in the forward areas, it is just coming from every angle. Look, this is a really resilient Brazilian team, and I think Switzerland were looking for that point, and I understand that, but you have to try and be, I said before the game started, show them respect but not too much, and I think your point is exactly that. Too much respect at the end of the day, and they've ended up being beaten 1-0.
Yeah, they have. Don't forget, we've got England tomorrow, 5 p.m. Big build-up to England against Wales, and then live commentary from 7 o'clock your time. I'll tell you what, for me, I'm watching Switzerland go over to their fans and applaud them. The fans are applauding back. They got energised, the Swiss fans, when they did actually have a little bit of a go for about 90 seconds fairly early in the second half. I think the fans would have wanted to see more. Brazil players going over to their fans away to our left, that sea of yellow behind the goal. They'll be delighted. They turned on some style. Even just 1-0, they turned on some style and showed us what they're capable of right at the very end, and they got the win as well. It is time now for us to pick TalkSport's Man of the Match, presented by Dobble.
TalkSport's Man of the Match, presented by Dobble from Asmodee UK. Double, double, double! Oi, oi, oi! Dobble, available at all good retailers.
Tony Cascarino, who are you going for?
It has to be a Casemiro. He defended brilliantly for Brazil. He was the protection in the midfield. He's in front of Marquinhos and Thiago Silva, and I've got to say the difference, the winning goal, struck it beautifully. Okay, slight deflection, but Jan Sommer in the goal couldn't do anything about it. I thought his performance was exemplary tonight. There was a lot of good performances. At one stage I was thinking 0-0, I've got to give it to a defender. Well, he's not really a defender, but he defended brilliant for his team tonight and got a great goal, Casemiro.
Akanji was superb, but
you've
got to give it to the winner, and you're right. Casemiro is TalkSport's Man of the Match, presented by Dobble. When the game stops, keep on playing Dobble.
TalkSport's Man of the Match, presented by Dobble from Asmodee UK. When the game stops, keep on playing Dobble. Available at all good retailers.
So a bit of breaking news today from the EFL. Mick Beale said he wanted to be loyal to Rangers, but he didn't say which Rangers, so he's left Rangers for Rangers and can still therefore claim he's being loyal to Rangers. He's left QPR, gone to Rangers in Scotland. More on that in the EFL show getting underway on TalkSport 2 with Dan Windle. Download the TalkSport app for free. You can swipe between the two stations. The World Cup continues here on TalkSport with Portugal against Uruguay. Messi did magical things at Lusail a couple of nights ago. Can Ronaldo respond? Live on TalkSport. Hugh Wozencroft will be your host next. We had 11 goals in the first two games today on TalkSport. VAR did its best to stop the fun, but with all those flair Brazilians on show, it was left to Manchester United's Casemiro to fire in the winner and kiss the Swiss goodbye.
So far, Brazil's quest to end 2 decades of hurt is alive and kicking.
It's a special occasion to witness Brazil as a team.
Vinicius Junior flicks in the cross, brilliant ball in. Richarlison facing goal, couldn't quite reach it. Outside of the boot from Vinicius Junior. What a cross! Now it's knocked to the left-hand side towards Vinicius Junior. Into the penalty area, clear on goal. He finds the finish. It's Vinicius Junior for Brazil. And the goal has been ruled out for offside. It's a free kick and it's 0-0. Vinicius Junior, and now Casemiro shoots! Oh, Casemiro has scored! Into the top corner, and Brazil have surely won
it! World Cup Game Day, live on TalkSport. Presented by Dobble from Asmodee UK. When the game stops, keep on playing Dobble. Available at all good retailers.
Join the footy frenzy at Magnet Trade with our Keepy Uppy Challenge. Show us your skills in store and you could win amazing prizes like a Samsung fridge freezer, Smeg coffee machines and stand mixers, DeWalt drills, Beko vacuums, AEG toasters and kettles, and even an AEG premium appliance pack worth $3.5 grand. Come on, show us your techers. New winners via prize draw every week at Magnet Trade until 17th of December. T's and C's at magnettrade.co.uk.
You join us as we preview the Suns World Cup team. What a lineup. Tony Adams at the back, no-nonsense opinion and quick feet for a big man. Also famous for playing football. Jack Wilshere in midfield, ex-England maestro, creativity and flair. One to watch. Troy Deeney up front to smash in some incredible insight and all overseen by the greatest manager never to win a World Cup, Harry Redknapp. The Sun's World Cup columnists bringing you opinion, analysis and insight throughout the tournament. Read them only in The Sun.
At William Hill, we get the value of the World Cup.
Best chance in 66.
The value of the players.
They've got some decent strikers.
The value of the draw.
Wales, England, unbelievable.
The value of your bet.
Wow, that's great odds.
That's why during the World Cup, William Hill is giving you more epic value. Get behind your team with William Hill's Double Your Odds. Available every tournament day. Now that's epic value. All tournament. It's who you play with. William Hill. Online and in shop for Plus card holders only. Max £10 stake. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Well, this is an interesting lineup. He goes in with the chicken McNugget, a cheeky pass on the barbecue dip, nice move there, and sour cream's left open on the edge of the box. And there they come with a chicken select. Oh, what a performance!
Fancy a McDelivery? Come together this FIFA World Cup with the new McDelivery chicken combo. 20 chicken McNuggets, 10 chicken selects, 8 dips, all for just $15.99. Exclusively for McDelivery. Until the 18th of December from 11 a.m. Participating restaurants only. Price may vary. Delivery fees apply. 18 plus. Subject to availability.
Yeti was having a bad fur day. Again. Poor love. So when he heard there was up to 40% off in the Amazon Black Friday week, he treated himself to a volumizing hairdryer. So he could be furry and fabulous. Looking fly, hairy guy. Get up to 40% off in the Amazon Black Friday week. Ends midnight.
At Asda, get 2 for £20 on beer and cider packs. Perfect for getting your friend round for the footy. Mix and match from a great lineup including Budweiser, Magnus Cider, Asahi Super Dry, Corona Extra, Peroni, Carlin and many more. It's a win-win. Selected Asda stores online, subject to availability. Exclude Scotland and Wales. Pack sizes 10 times 330ml to 18 times 440ml. £13 to £14 each. Drink aware.
Well, here we go. Let's go out there and show them what we're capable of.
Yes, boss.
And remember, always work as a team.
Yes, boss.
And above all, remember our secret weapon. U-Power safety shoes. Comfortable, light, but at the same time strong and resistant. That way we'll have finished all our work by tonight, but still feel rested.
Yes, boss.
Let's get to work, guys. With U-Power. U-Power, my choice. Find your closest dealer on our website, u-power.it/EN.
World Cup Game Day live on TalkSport, presented by Carling. Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
TalkSport.
The very best from the Middle East. Online, on your mobile, and on your super smart speaker. World Cup Game Day live with Hugh Wozencroft. Live from Qatar.
TalkSport.
Well, we've had drama already today at the World Cup, and tonight's match promises much. With creativity and quality attackers everywhere you look, we're expecting goals tonight in a group that could end up being very, very tight.
Bruno Fernandes, it's 4-on-3 for Portugal. Fernandes tries to slip it in, and Rafael Leão! Well, the full-time whistle has gone, and Portugal have edged out Ghana in a 5-goal thriller, full-time at the 974 Stadium. Portugal 3, Ghana 2.
I just think if we can tighten it up at the back, if we don't concede goals, we will always have goals in the team.
It's Ronaldo for Portugal. Slow run up to the ball, right-footed. History! History for Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo!
The guy has just created a record that probably will never, ever be beaten again.
It finishes at the Education City Stadium. Uruguay 0, South Korea 0.
If I'm Alonso, the coach of Uruguay, I'd be really worried right now.
They're like a team that's waiting to concede a goal. They need to liven up.
It's been that transition to kind of trying to control possession, trying to enable those midfielders, because the midfield is incredible for Uruguay. That's where the strength is.
Coming out of Russia, statistically, they were the best South American side, as they'd been in South Africa 8 years earlier. But they were looking ahead at this one and thinking, you know what, we can do even better. Why? Because we'll have it all.
Well, Portugal failed to inspire despite scoring 3 in their opening victory against Ghana, led of course by the record-breaking Cristiano Ronaldo. It could have gone either way and didn't really suggest Portugal would be a force in this tournament, whilst Uruguay conspired with South Korea to send the crowd to sleep in a ball draw that only included 1 shot on target. Luis Suarez was a shadow of his former self and left us wondering if youth over experience would be their best route to progression. It's a wonderful World Cup fixture, however you look at it, with superb talent everywhere you look. Portugal versus Uruguay from Group H at the World Cup kicks off live on TalkSport from the 89,000-seater spectacular Lusail Stadium at 7 p.m. And there are plenty of fans in here already, a host of Portuguese flags and a sea of red and green to our left-hand side, and the Uruguay fans and all of their banners La Celeste away to our right, and they will make plenty of noise this evening. Should be a fantastic game, but I think both sides are looking for a little bit more than what we saw in their openers. So let's run through the lineups tonight on TalkSport, presented by Brainbox Football.
Team lineups on TalkSport, presented by Brainbox Football from Asmodee UK. Are you on the ball? Brainbox Football, available at all good retailers.
Alongside me at the Lusail with the team news is TalkSport's Alex Crook.
Well, Fernando Santos has turned to the man he calls the monster to help send Portugal into the last 16. Pepe will be 40 in February and has played just 48 minutes since early October due to a knee injury. But the Euro 2016 winner starts tonight, becoming the oldest European World Cup player in the process. Pepe's inclusion is enforced due to PSG defender Danilo being sidelined with broken ribs. It's one of 3 alterations from that win over Ghana. Nuno Mendes and William Carvalho also come into the lineup, so it's Costa the goalkeeper, Cancelo, Diaz, Pepe and Mendes in the back 4, Carvalho in front of them, with Bernardo Silva, Ruben Neves and Bruno Fernandes in behind the history-making Cristiano Ronaldo and João Felix up front. Uruguay have the opportunity to become the first team ever to keep clean sheets at 6 successive World Cup group matches, but it's the opposite end of the pitch that was cause for concern in their lacklustre 0-0 opening game draw against South Korea. No real surprise as the light show springs into action here that Luis Suarez is dropped to the bench. Edinson Cavani comes in to replace him. Sebastian Coates and Guillermo Barrea also come into the side. So it's a change in system with Rochette the goalkeeper, a back 3 of Jimenez, Coates and Godin, Varela and Oliveira the wing-backs, with Vecino and Bentancur in midfield, and then a front trio of Valverde, Cavani and Liverpool's Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, it's never a good thing when the lights go off when you're reading out the team news. But Alex Crook, thank you very much. Those lineups on TalkSport brought to you by Brainbox Football. Are you on the ball? Available at all good retailers.
Team lineups on TalkSport, presented by Brainbox Football from Asmodee UK. Are you on the ball? Brainbox Football, available at all good retailers.
And I'm absolutely delighted to say that alongside Alex and myself is the former England striker Leanne Sanderson. Hi Leanne, looking forward to this?
Absolutely, Hugh. It's a little bit different from our Friday night show in the studio. This stadium is absolutely incredible. I know you guys are talking a lot about it, and it's my first time coming here, and it's absolutely sensational. It takes your breath away when you're coming up the steps, and in our line of work you get the luxury of being able to go to so many places, but this is pretty much, one of the best stadiums I've definitely ever been to.
Let's talk about that team news then. Luis Suarez, he's been playing at Nacional to keep fit for this tournament, 35 years old. We know what his legacy is. He scored 68 goals in 135 caps, but I think we saw in that opening game that maybe this World Cup isn't one for him to be a starter in. He was way off it. He's been replaced by Edinson Cavani. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's inevitable. I mean, I loved Edinson Cavani when he was at Manchester United. I was quite disappointed he left in the way that he did, but he didn't really seem to want to be there towards the end of his Man United career. He picked up a lot of injuries, but what I love about Cavani is that he will run all day long. He's the type of player I feel like I'd love to have him as a teammate, because because he's not afraid to do all the dirty work and he has the quality as well. So I think it makes sense. It'll be interesting to see with Darwin Nunez up front with him, because I feel like obviously the other day in the game against Korea Republic, he was almost on the left-hand side a lot, and I actually prefer him down the middle a lot better. And I think Darwin Nunez has done well at Liverpool this year. I know a lot of people have been indifferent about his time, but it takes a little while to adapt. The red card, I don't think, helped, in one of his first games for Liverpool, but I think he's a top player, and you can see his physique, he's got a lot about him, so he's definitely going to need to step up. But
the few times that Uruguay did threaten in that game against South Korea, it was because of Darwin Nunez stretching the team in behind. It was very rare we saw that pass come, only a few times in that match, but I think that is a real threat for the Portuguese defence tonight, particularly with an older player, Pepe, playing in central defence. I should say with Cavani starting, there is one good omen. He scored both the goals in a 2-1 last 16 win over Portugal at the World Cup in 2018. Maybe he can replicate some of that form tonight. Let's talk about Portugal next, and that man I mentioned, the monster meets the cannibal. That is, of course, if Pepe runs into Luis Suarez tonight. That was the headline in today's Telegraph. Pepe comes in for Danilo Pereira, who's out for the group stage with those broken ribs.